Podcast, episode number 102. Woo! Brought to us by you. Does that make sense? I don't know.
Me?
No, brought to you by you, I guess.
What?
Well, you know how this is why I say that, because I always listen to these other podcasts, and if they have any type of Patreon at all, they like to say at the beginning of the show, this week's episode is brought to you by our Patreons. And if they only have like 4 or 5, then they'll say them, by name. But every time I hear that it's brought to you by, I'm like, well, the way I look at it,
we're going to spend the first half hour naming all the Patreons.
Brought to you by. Boo, boo, boo.
Could you imagine that?
Promotional consideration?
Promotional consideration paid for by the following. Yeah. Did you guys listen to that thing I sent last week or no?
Number 1. I did, and I forgot to put it in the episode.
But you did listen.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a long one, but I also put in that one specific one where he says, Mr. Freeze. Isn't that great?
And I'm like, damn it, because I was like, I wanted to put it in the end of episode 101. Maybe it will show up. Maybe it will show up at the end of this one.
Ooh, hey, maybe. Hey. Nice.
What's
so
with
now
Yanni McGee over here? How late did you stay up, you fuck?
I'm just tired. I've been sick the last couple of days.
Oh, boy. Sick now? Good God.
I'm okay. I'm feeling better.
Good Lord.
My allergies are bad. I had some asthma a little bit the other day.
Yeah, you sound all congested.
Are you sure you're good? You've been social distancing?
I'm staying 6 feet away from the camera right now.
You on that whole social D-tip? Yeah? You're all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
So, D, distortion.
Exactly. But I've been saying that since social distancing came around. I've been saying that. Yeah, I got to be on that social D-tip.
Gonna be our band name, Social Distance.
Social distance.
What did I miss? What are you guys talking about?
Did you freeze?
No, I just
Social distortion. That's what
Distortion, the band.
The band.
Oh.
So we said our band's gonna be called Social Distance.
Social dis.
For short.
Antisocial dis. How about that one?
You're gonna be so far removed from it, Brandon, you won't even realize that you're in the band. You'll be in the back room sucking us off before every show.
I think B could be a I don't know, he's out of it. I think he could be a beatboxer. You think you could do a beatbox?
No.
No.
Remember that time you asked me to hum for you?
Oh yeah, that's right.
It sounded like I was blowing an elephant.
Yeah.
It looks like you're awesome. What do you buy?
You know who he looks like when he makes that face? I know it's way out of left field, of course.
Oh,
but
God, what is...
Hold on, though. He looks like that chick from Friday the 13th, The New Blood, that has that wide mouth. You know what I'm talking about?
The one that, Bride of Reanimator. No, not Bride of Reanimator. That's Kathleen. She was in a couple of other
B movies. Oh, Something Like Deadly Night 2.
She looks like a Muppet. That one.
Yeah.
She's the one that tells the other girl.
She's the one that gets tossed out of the window but doesn't implode a car or explode the car windows. She just lands on the ground.
Right. Yeah, she has that mouth.
Right, hey, Brandon, how do you not know who the fuck we're talking
about? No, I know who she is. I like her. She's hot. I was trying to think of her name. What movie did you say she's in? She's in another. I just saw her. It's like,
who?
I think she was in Necromancer.
Really? I don't know. But make that face again, because it looks like
I can only do it when I'm doing. I need the dong.
The dong, the fake dong. Does that help? Yeah, does it? Someone's got to snap a picture of that and put it up next to that girl.
Please don't snap a picture. I'm done doing it.
Nudie joined, you prick. Speaking of brought to you by Mr. Freeze, what the fuck is with your internet? David's been freezing 2 shows in a row.
I don't know why. I am Mr. Freeze. You're right. I don't get it. It's fucked up, ain't it? I don't know.
It's only sucks because everybody wants to see you, except for the new post about me being the best looking on the show.
That's right. He is the fucking hot guy. Yeah. See? Yeah.
I love it. Say what you're gonna say, Brandon.
No, I wasn't even gonna. No.
You look like you're about to vomit.
No.
You're just happy it's not me because you always talk shit about me and of course Dave gets this and that and fucking they vote him in and the Dave Z Nation and yada yada yada. So now you're gonna be jealous of
I was
him.
perfectly fine with the content of that post. The wording of that post, though, was he wrote, "Who would have thought the good-looking one of the bunch?" That's implied that we're like the fucking uglies or something. I have no problem admitting Christian's a nice-looking man. I mean, look at him. Look at that fedora wearing motherfucker. But it's like us gargoyles should like turn off our cameras right now.
Well, it was almost like a backhanded compliment too. Like, who would have known? Because I talk like a fucking asshole or something like that. Like, my voice makes me sound so hideous
That there's no way I could be attractive.
But that does reign true. Usually the voice. I'm telling you, I don't know because I'm not into men that way. But I can tell you this:
Vince?
when I hear a female voice, when I hear a female voice and I listen to her and the voice, she just sounds beautiful when she talks, right? But I've never seen her before. And then I see them, it's always the opposite. It's like the better the voice, the worse looking.
Better beauty internally?
Yes, there you go. That's what it is. So if you have amazing internal beauty, you also have an amazing, beautiful voice, it seems. And the other people that may be outwardly very attractive don't seem to have the most attractive voices. And I've learned to judge it that way. And it's not as accurate as my cover art thing.
I was just going to say this is like this is his box art
It's
test.
not as accurate as his cover.
It does reign true, and I've used it. But I've even said it to people like on podcasts before. Not to hurt anyone's feelings, but like someone that I've been friends with, you know. This is just like underground discussion. It's not like this is like during messages or something. And I'd say, "Oh yeah, I heard your co-host," and I go, "I'm gonna guess that she weighs 400 pounds or something." Like, oh, yeah, she is kind of a big girl, and I said I knew she would be because she sounds so hot. You know what I mean?
If she weighs 400 pounds, you can't say, yeah, she is kind of a big girl, like surprise. If she weighs 400 pounds, you know she's a fucking big girl.
What? 400?
She is kind of a big girl. Oh my God.
So what you're telling me, Dave, is that I got a voice for newsprint.
No. I'm saying that maybe you sound like you're heavier than you are.
Yeah, but apparently I have a face for radio.
No, you're fine. They didn't say we were ugly. They just didn't. We're just there. We're just hovering. We're just like there. They didn't say.
Maybe I'm so hot that you guys are just very attractive.
I like that. I'll go with that.
I can live with it. I have no problem. Whatever. I'm cute. I know I'm cute because they tell me I'm cute. They always have, and I can live with that. I'm not fucking Mr. Handsome, Mr. Hot, Mr. Fuck whatever. All I know.
Ripping out each other's cocks, please. I don't want to lose this.
Well, that's when cute turns into something else. You know what I mean? I'm like,
whipping out each other's. Like, hey, Brandon,
no.
Dave, I'll get first now.
Each other's. I'm gonna reach through. Zip. Oh man.
You gonna ghost dad him?
Yeah.
You gonna reach through?
Yeah. Did Ghost Dad unzip a fly?
You gotta go to the side. You gotta go this way. Ooh. Am I reaching over or wrong way?
Oh, wait.
Who am I getting?
I can't. I'm not wide enough.
I'm not wide enough.
Oh man. Woo.
You paid for this. This is
That's
all
true.
for you.
That's what we're getting at. And I might freeze again. I got news for you. Because as I'm sitting here, I feel fine. And I think I sound fine. I don't know. But Christian cuts out a few times. Things happen. And when that happens, that usually when you cut out, it's a problem on the other person's end. That's what I've noticed. Because I bet he didn't cut out for you, did he, B?
No, he did cut out a little bit there.
Okay, so it's not me. I'm relieved.
Yeah.
Good, because I don't. Let's let him freeze this time.
Don't worry. He'll sound fine on the recording. We'll sound like fucking shit.
No, because I'm using the audio now from the video feed that's recorded on Dave's end.
Really?
That's how it's been done. Yeah, well, it's just easier that way. Otherwise, the sync's all out of whack.
So wait a minute now. So whatever I hear is what the patrons are going to hear, even on the audio.
No. The audio is my recording.
Oh, that's what I thought you
but
just
the
said.
video, no, the audio is mine, but most people are now watching the video, and for simplicity's sake, that's what's being recorded on your end.
Oh, okay. Well,
And that's always been what's been recorded at your end, except for I had some issues way back when, and I had to put my track in. So I'll try. If it's really chopped up, then I'll have to put my audio in. But enough of this technical bullshit.
yeah. Right. Let's move along. Right. Let's
Ratings?
move along. Ratings for the intro.
You're at 6 out of 10.
Oh, how about our ratings got challenged? Speaking of that,
It's got a big head already. Yeah, no, I told Jace, I said, all right, Lighthouse, 5 out of 10.
Despite him, you said that? Or is
No,
that your-
he's like, you don't give anything a 5 out of 10. I said, all right, Lighthouse, 5 out of 10. Cool.
I read that as our ratings are all over the place. And I tend to agree. Like sometimes I'm like, I love this movie, 7. Oh, this movie was okay, 7. And then so the ratings change.
But
Let's
to be honest, and was it Roberto who commented after, who made the comment that we haven't reviewed a ton of bad films, which is 100% true. On this show, we really do not review shit that other podcasts will tend to do. We're not reviewing, Elf on the Shelf horror movie, that.
Elf on the Shelf. You shitting
No,
on
no, was that the name of the movie?
the Elf, but that's
Oh, the Elf. Sorry, I was like, I didn't.
Everybody shit on me today.
You talking about his movie?
No, I meant Christian. You know which one I meant. The Elf. Movies like that. Movies like Robert the Doll. People. Any shot on video crap.
Oh.
Jim K special.
Dude, I give Jim K credit, man. He's covering the franchises that nobody will even sniff. I can't believe he watches these. I never even heard of some of these. He did that 11/11 franchise. I was like, what the hell is this?
I know, right? Where does he find this? Does he just look up longest franchises?
They're definitely, I think they're on Tubi. If you just scroll down a few more screens on Tubi, I think they're there. Or Popcorn Flicks or whatever. The other one that's like Tubi.
Oh, there's a new one?
Oh no, it's been out for a while too. It's called Popcorn Flicks or something. Legit.
Oh, is it an app though, or is it only on the computer?
I think it's an app.
Ooh, I'm gonna look into this now.
It's called I don't have my iPad down here.
I do know of it.
Yeah, because that's where I told Heather to check out VHS because it was on that streaming. Because for whatever reason, it used to be on Prime, but it's off Prime now.
Wait a minute, is this a Canadian thing?
Oh, maybe.
Oh, because you say you and Heather, so instantly I think it might be a Canadian thing. You know what I
I know
mean?
where to find it. I just recommended it to her. I don't know if it's a Canadian thing or not.
Okay,
Wait.
a Canadian thing.
Yeah. Wait a fucking second here.
Let me ask you about Canada. Hold on. Okay, this is gonna be, maybe I'm onto something here, but I've wondered this my entire life. I might be way off base, but all my life. Okay, let me put it to you this way. It has to do with like a musical thing that I think happens in Canada a lot. Now I could be wrong, but in my mind, I've always associated this with Canada. Now listen, hear me out. Picture Revenge of the Nerds. Remember at the end of Revenge of the Nerds when they play "We Are the Champions"? The regular Queen version. I paid my dues. And then after the end, it turned into this like chorus thing. And it goes, "We are the champions, my friend." You know what I'm talking about?
The chorus kicks singing in. Yeah.
That to me reminds me of Canada. A big chorus like that and everybody singing that style of and it always had. And there's the beginning of that song, Rolling Stones. You can't always get
what you want, and it's always the women like the choir singing at the beginning.
There's that thing.
Canadian.
You can't always. So it is Canadian.
No, it's not Canadian. It's just a fucking choir. What do you think? All Canadians are gay?
No, choir is the Canadian word for group singing.
Yeah.
Canadian word. No, but listen, I always associate that with Canada because I used to watch this show when I was a kid, and they would go to some commercial. I think it was a
Canadian choirs. I remember that. That was good. Yeah. It
just seems to me that choirs with those accents that sound that way, it always reminds me.
Accent in the singing.
Listen to the sound. We are the champions, my friend. There's definitely an accent, and the Rolling Stones. You can't always get what you want. I know. I'm just saying. There's always some type of accent. And the thing is, like I said, all my life when I was a kid, I wondered, is that like a popular thing in Canada, those choirs? Is it like a thing?
It is, because the HBO show The Wire in Canada is called The Choir.
Wow. No, this is the first I've ever heard of it. No on that joke, and no on
that joke. Yes, no to that joke for sure.
It's all right. I've always associated it with Canada because I'm telling you, I used to watch like CTV or the other Canadian channel that we would get, and I would like see these commercials, and they would show like a waterfall, and there would be a choir singing, and this seems like I would see commercials in Canada, and there was choirs in the commercials a lot.
We like to sing. I guess we're just a happy bunch. I see all these commercials, and it's like Americans, and they're just like eating a lot of food, and wielding guns. Does that hold any relevance?
Yeah, the choir, motherfucker.
Well, wait a minute now. I'm not insulting Canada when I say these things.
I was insulting you. I like to eat too.
No, I don't give a fuck. No, I don't care. I'm just saying.
Play laser tag.
That's painfully obvious.
I didn't know if you got offended by it because.
No, I don't get offended. No, but I've never noticed it, to be honest.
Okay, so this just might be something I've created in my mind that is not a thing at all. That's okay. I had to ask somebody. All my life I've
somebody will agree with you though. Somebody in the Dave Z Nation will agree with you, even though I kind of have no idea what you're even talking about.
I'm telling you, watch Canadian commercials from the 80s, and a lot of them have choirs in them. I'm telling you, there's something about it. So
I do not think that that's true.
You know what they do always say Canadian TV is an acquired taste.
It's an acquired.
Boom!
Nice. That was good.
I'm out.
He's back. God.
He's feeling okay. Muppet mouth and all.
I like the tire.
Oh boy. So today we're going to talk about two movies, right? What are the two movies? Well, I know what they are. I don't know who brought them forward, but
Kevin Tenney did Witchboard.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, Kevin Tenney did do it. Okay.
He brought that one forward.
Witchboard is requested from George T. and Event Horizon.
Which board are we doing?
Nope.
This joke again. Yeah, nope. Nope.
Which trap are we doing? Oh,
that's another
remember that? We were gonna do that a long time ago. We were gonna do Witchboard and Witch Trap. I even ordered that DVD, that bootleg VHS strip of that movie, Witch Trap. This is the early days. This is when we first started the show. We were trying to come up with like two movie, deals what we were gonna do because of Witch Trap.
Much.
I've never seen it, but here's the deal. The guy that plays Mel Fader is in Witch Trap, or looks like he is on the cover of that thing. So I thought that was kind of like the spiritual sequel to Witchboard, because Witchboard 2 I never really much cared for. So I thought maybe Witch Trap is gonna have more in common with Witchboard, but I've never seen it. Still, I got that disc somewhere.
What about Witch Master?
Nope.
Make a witch, please.
Make a witch? Clickety-clackety.
Yeah, Witch Master.
So anyway, Witchboard.
Woo!
From George T. Event Horizon from Willie P. That's what we got going on today.
One of these two movies I watched twice.
Wow.
Yeah.
In your life?
No, twice.
For the show.
Last 2 days.
I'm going to guess it's Event Horizon.
It's got it.
It's the better of the two movies, I'll say
it's
that.
Got it.
You're going to say it's Event Horizon. Okay.
Well, we'll see.
I'll just throw something out here until we get to it. I don't know if we're going right into the first movie now or not, but Witchboard does not really hold up.
Well, I guess we're going to find out about it. I want to know why it doesn't hold up. I could understand why you would say that, but I guess we're going to have to get into it then. Shit. Now that you've laid the gauntlet. I mean,
just pave the way.
That's wonderful. It's a special movie. So,
it's a what?
It's a special movie to me personally. The thing is, so
I remember you went to the theater and a pack of cigarettes rolled up in your sleeve.
Yeah, you are right. That was a night.
Right? I listen.
You do. You remember.
Could have held a fucking gun to my head. I would never have known you went to see this with a pack of cigarettes rolled up in your sleeve.
I remember.
You remember. That's true. I was 15 years old or something like that, right? And friends of mine and myself, we went to the Riviera Theater, which is one of those small downtown theaters and only seats like, I don't know, 1,000 people. I don't know. I'm never good with numbers.
Small theaters.
It's like it's old and it's small. I got to look it up with the Riviera Theater, but not right now.
It's cocked.
Well, we went to the Riviera Theater and we would sit in the balcony because there was a balcony because there was a stage on there. You could see plays and whatnot. But, they also play movies here and there.
Stand in front or try to watch a movie. Shakespeare, yeah. Get the fuck off the stage. Is this a dagger I see before me? Fuck you. Witchboard.
Yeah, we kicked people right off the stage. Yeah. Oh man. Shit. I don't know what happened.
Spare either.
So the Riviera Theater. I was a kid and we went there, and the thing is, they had a balcony because, like I said, it was I wish you could see because me describing it doesn't do it any justice. It might sound bigger than it is. It's really not big, but there was the balcony section, and then there's the down, the regular theater section. And then there's the stage where, of course, the screen would be. So for whatever reason, I always remember this particular night in my life, just being that age and going. I know everything I wore. I know the people I was with. I know that the video game I played, they had a 10-yard fight was up in the balcony, and they had like a concession section there. And I remember playing 10-yard fight at the arcade and hanging out. And I was really head over heels in love with this girl. And I just never had the Dave Z of that age and the Dave Z of now is completely different. There was no way I would have been
3 inches shorter.
Give her a call right now.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. For years, I did look her up on Facebook. She never popped up.
Nice. I'm a big Facebook stalker myself.
Oh yeah. Well, that was the reason I signed up initially because I was divorcing.
Best part of Facebook.
Well, I was divorcing my first wife, and I was like, well, yeah, because if you haven't thought about some girl in 15 years and maybe you had relations or maybe you always wanted to have relations, that's why I got on. I was like, okay, let's see what this girl's up to. She around, hey, send her a message.
Pounds.
Hey, would you like to have relations?
That guy just got a pretty voice.
Exactly. Oh my God.
Like to have relations.
Riviera Theater. Okay, so anyway, I go and I see this movie. Like I said, I'm a kid. I'm 15, 16 years old. You know what I mean? So we go to the film I call it. We go to the show.
The show.
Yeah, it is the show. Let's go to the show. So, but the thing is, something about this whole experience that night is just always sat with me. And
who played Tawny Katan in this theatrical production you saw? Who played the Witchboard?
Imagine that. They put on a blanket. Holy cow. Oh, man. Here, I'm going to show you a picture of the Riviera Theater. All right, let's see. So anyway, as I'm there, this is what's going on in this movie. Every time, no, Grant, the place is filled with teenagers. Who's going to see Witchboard on a Friday night when it debuts? Kids. So we're all there. We're doing our thing, And every time there's a jump scare, every girl in the audience screams. And in turn, that makes you jump because you're sitting next to... Huh? Twice?
So that happened twice in the movie.
No, dude. That's the thing about this film. There's like 5 or 6 or 7 things that happened that people were shrieking at and jumping about. And it's like, wow. So I always, when I think about this movie, it always takes you back to that first time experience, just being that age and that night.
That's the feels that Jamie keeps talking about, how she rates her movies on. She bases it on the feels, which is, I think, what we all kind of do. I'm not critiquing movies from like a film critique standpoint. We do that occasionally. We'll deep dive and we'll peel apart some layers, but typically we're talking about it from an entertainment piece.
Yeah,
typically.
That's fair. See, there's the inside of it. See, that's the Riviera Theater. So now,
gift certificates available.
That was our next question.
We sat in the balcony. We sat in the balcony because in the balcony you could smoke. So at that time we thought we were fucking tough guys.
What was this, 1930? He said, we're in the balcony.
Hey, shut them every say.
That was the rule. Smoking in the balcony only.
Smoking, wearing fedoras.
We're here to watch moving pictures, see?
Moving pictures.
Oh, man. So anyway, this movie has always been, it's just one of those movies. It's a feel-good movie for me. It takes me back, and it's just So
is it a toxic 10 out of 10 though? That's what we need to know.
Of course not.
The feels.
The feels.
I did rate it high though. We did the 86 show with 22 shots, if you guys remember that, and it was in my top 5, and I think I was the only person that had it on his list. Yeah. So it's just one of those movies for me. You know what I mean? But now my rating is going to be a little different upon this view, but I try to rate
even higher.
11 out of 10. I gave it the old Spinal Tap.
Or the old LAC.
Yeah.
Yeah, the old LAC. Yeah, well, I guess she could. Yep. Okay. We should just get into the movie then, huh? How much can we talk about?
Let's get into Witchboard from 1986, written and directed by Kevin Tenney. When his girlfriend becomes dangerously obsessed with a ghost she contacted using a Ouija board, Jim reluctantly joins forces with her ex, his own estranged childhood best friend, to identify and exorcise the evil spirit. Ouija.
Thank you. That's why for years I've insisted on that pronunciation, and he explains it in the movie. Ouija.
But I love how everybody else will call it Ouija, because that's what everybody else does. So that part was actually kind of good.
From the French and German for yes, we and ja.
There it is. So everybody listening, call it Ouija. It's not fucking Luigi. It's fucking Ouija, not Ouija.
It's Luigi.
I love the Ouija too. On the move.
I don't let it. On the move. I don't say anything anymore because I'm not an asshole. But there was a time where it really bothered me. I said, "Why don't you just call it Ouija? It's Ouija, not Ouija." But these days, you know,
my favorite right now is still Krampus.
Oh, you know, yeah, he does say that though.
I love it.
Krampus. Well, the thing is, I think maybe they're taking it back to their heritage. Maybe it's a German thing. Krampus, like that lady said. That's how she pronounces it. It's almost like, that guy that says, Mr. Freeze. You know what I mean? He rolls his R's. Although I can't do it very good. But I mean, I think...
I think he just made this movie to get the correct pronunciation of Ouija out there to the masses.
God damn it. I'm tired of hearing people say Ouija.
I'm writing a script surrounding the correct pronunciation of this goddamn word.
Quiet on the set. This is the most important scene of the movie. Now say it. He auditioned people. Please explain it to what a Ouija board is.
What the hell's a Ouija board? You talking Ouija?
Fucking Ouija. Reminds me of a fucking... I want to make a squeegee Ouija. That's what I want to make. I want to make a squeegee. What is a squeegee? Something that cleans a car, right?
Yeah. Like a squeegee boys. Listen.
Squeegee boards?
I find this movie dull.
Did you say squeegee boards?
Squeegee boys.
Oh, I thought you said squeegee boys.
So did I. Squeegee boys.
I thought you were just dismissing him. Like, yeah, squeegee boards next.
Well, I was just kind of wiping it on. Like,
yeah, I want to see a squeegee that has like all those letters on it, and it could be a squeegee. You know,
Dude, where do homeless people get their squeegees from? I mean, you have nothing. You're destitute on the street, but they always seem to have a dog and a squeegee.
I know where. At the gas station. Never go to the gas station. You see it in the bucket.
You think they steal it from the gas station?
Why the fuck not? Wouldn't you?
Yeah, that makes sense. At night,
late at night. Windshield washer fluid too, so that they're not coming out with a fucking dry flood.
Yeah, they go in. That's what they should do. They should go inside 7-Eleven, scrounge up enough money for $1 to buy a fucking Slurpee. Go in there, come outside, scoop the shit out with the empty Slurpee, and you steal the thing. And you drink it too. Why don't you? Sure. Maybe you'll catch a buzz. I don't know.
I'm kidding. I love squeegee people.
I love squeegee people.
Squeegee. I prefer squeegee myself.
Yeah, squeegee. I love squeegee people. It's Italian. I'm going to get into right into the movie. I'm sorry, but it's dull. It's dull. It just kind of lumbers on. Like the pace of this movie is not that great. I kind of feel kind of episodic. Like the acting is a little amateurish. It's passable. It's passable acting. It's not horrendous. But for whatever reason, I could never get myself 100% on board. When I first watched this, there was one good jump scare. I always remember this movie for that one good jump scare. The last 3 times I've watched it, I'm like, where was that one good jump scare? I think it's when he comes and hits her with the wiffle ball bat or whatever.
He pops her head off.
That's it. Yeah, in the dream.
Yeah, that's the cleanest head decapitation ever. There's no blood whatsoever.
Why not? Why not though? It's a dream. You know?
I'm not saying I actually kind of like the characters. I agree with you on the acting. There's something a little off about it, but it's that cheesy 80s acting. But I like the characters of Jim, of Linda, and Brandon. I like the dynamic. We got those three characters. Zarabeth, her laugh is a little annoying.
Yeah, but she's a classic 80s character.
She is.
That's good. Like the actual character, the writing of the characters is actually above average.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's what I like about this movie now as an adult. It's actually a relationship movie. It's about the relationship between the two guys and the girl. You know what I mean? It's the guy's in the middle. I know, I forget his fucking name.
No. Not that. My wife walked in while I was watching this. She goes, "Are these guys gay?" Homoerotic overtones in that one scene where they're he's like, I think without a shirt on, he's sitting there, or just, and they're looking at each other. And I had to look at I'm like, is he gay in real life and playing a straight guy or something like that? Because it seems so gay.
Jim had his shirt off this whole film, and every time I saw him, I'd be like, nice sweater. And my dad would break out laughing. And then every time he would laugh, he would close his eyes as he laughs. James laughing, he knows what I'm talking about. he like do that like squinting laugh. I was like, what's he doing?
Classic gay move.
What is it about closing eyes?
I don't know.
What is it about?
No, have you ever because my brother
Have you ever
and I
closed your eyes?
No. My brother and I make fun of people that do. There's one person in particular in our life that does this. But do you ever talk to somebody and then they're talking to you, and as they talk to you, they close their eyes and as they're talking, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
I always want to know, what the fuck, are you falling asleep?
I don't get it.
You're boring me. I'm like, I gotta make a getaway.
Yeah, some people do that. They're talking to you and they close their eyes.
It's like they're trying to bring you into like the world they've created in their mind of the story.
I think you feel very important at that moment in time.
Yeah.
You're gonna listen to everything I say.
Have you guys ever gone to a party in a suit with a Ouija board?
No.
Well, how the fuck? Why would he even bring the Ouija board to that party?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And
Think
why?
about this.
And it's his life. He calls her up to say, "Hey, I forgot my Ouija." If he would have never forgot that Ouija board, as much as he loves that thing more than anything in his life.
He left that behind so he could see her again. Of course.
Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, I
that's
left
a
it there to
player.
pick it up." That you're right. That had to be it. Can I swing by? Because I have to take it to another party. This guy's the life of the party with this fucking Ouija board.
Dude,
He's like the guy that brings a guitar.
How accepting in a world, like in this world, are we of the fact that Ouija boards work? Like, it's so nonchalant. Like, oh, we're going to talk to David today.
Well, Jim doesn't believe so.
Jim doesn't believe it, even though they're literally talking to Dave like the whole damn movie.
Yeah.
Well, eventually he believes it, but I mean, but they're not even, honestly. They find out they're getting played, which is something else I like about this. Because think about that. That Mel Fader, what he does, and freaking, he even pretends to be he even puts on the voice through Zarabeth of a young boy, and it's him. It's not even fucking David. So this guy goes through all these lengths. I like how we have yeah, he is a player too. It's his reveal. You know what I mean? I like that. Here's something funny though. How did you, and I guess that all makes sense because it's
Or wear the fedora?
Oh, I love that fedora on her though.
What? Oh my God. Anyway,
Well, I love her.
I took you off your train of thought.
No, okay.
She was only in a fedora, I would be fine.
Okay, it was only a couple scenes because she wore it to the funeral, and then she wore it later when she was playing a man. You know what I mean? So I guess
She
it gotta
was
make
playing
sense.
a man.
Well, she was possessed by a man, so okay, I might as well put on my fedora.
Yeah.
I mean,
Val Vader's like, what will make me more intimidating? Let me put on this fedora.
And talk in a stupid voice. Anyway, what were you about to say, Dave? We got you off track.
what I was going to say was that how funny is it that for no reason, David says to, what's her name? Tawny? I'm going to call her Tawny, whatever.
Linda.
Linda. Okay, David says to Linda when they're having the seance, I love you. I'm like, wait a minute. He loves her? He's only spoken to her twice. How did their relationship get this deep? And the funny thing is, it wasn't even David that said that. It was Mel Fader that made that happen. I just always found that funny that he says, I love you. I don't know.
I think it makes sense because she thinks she's pregnant and he's a young child, and that whole conversation about being reborn, choosing your parents. So I think it's like playing on that. And plus she has the instinct. She wants to be a mother.
Yeah, my rating went up. Thank you. Okay, there you go. See, that was
You was going to go down because of the I love you comment?
I'm just kidding.
5 out of 10.
Did you guys notice the Academy Award winning actress who was in the beginning?
In the beginning, let's see.
Yeah.
Here.
What was it?
I'll give you a hint. She was sitting on top of the Ouija board.
On top of the Ouija board.
Yeah, on top of the Ouija board. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. It's Kate Blanchett.
Really?
Was that a bad joke?
That's a joke.
Oh, I don't know. I thought maybe there is a Kate Blanchett.
Disappointed. He's disappointed in us for not appreciating that joke.
I love that joke.
I'm sorry.
I don't get it. It went over my head. It all.
Her name is Kate Blanchett, but because that thing is called a planchette.
What's a planchette? I never heard of that before.
The planchette is the thing on the Ouija board that you use to call people. The little handle thing.
What am I fucking?
What do you mean? He even says it. He says it at the beginning. Brandon brings his Ouija board. This is called the planchette.
Oh.
It's like the opening of the movie. It's like the explanation of the Ouija board. It comes from we and John. This is.
I get that. Oh, that's why I didn't get the joke.
Oh.
So you're good joke.
Now it's funny. That's why she's sitting on top of the Ouija board. Now I get the joke, but I didn't know it was a planchette. I'd never heard of that before. I just didn't. That went over my head in the movie, and you telling the joke. Oh, that's a good
joke.
joke.
The movie 2 days ago, but he remembers. What's the name of the movie theater you talked about before?
Of course. Well, that's significant. A planchette? It sounds like a French pastry or something. You know? I don't know.
It's from French from ya.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the hell I just said.
I don't know. But come on.
Tell my dog to shut up.
Oh, it's okay. Shut the fuck up. Jim.
Wanna walk this damn dog?
Yeah.
Sure.
His relationship with Linda and his relationship with, what's the other guy? The guy that comes over with the board?
Brandon.
How could I forget that name? How about this, though? We got Brandon and David in the same movie. Yeah. Nice, huh?
There's no Christian, eh?
No Christian. I know. One of these days, we're gonna get all three of us in a. Well, we hopefully we are, but are we gonna call ourselves our real names when we make the movie?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be totally self-referential. I mean, every movie we're the same people.
Every movie.
In one.
It'd be like fucking Tony Danza. You ever notice that Tony Danza? His name was always Tony in everything he was in.
Oh my Lord! I just went through the Death Wish movies, and fucking Charlie Brownson, Bronson. He's not using the Dirty Harry guy, not Dirty Harry, Death Wish. What the fuck am I talking about?
Charlie
His
Brownson.
name's Leo, and he's Leo in another movie. His nickname's Leo. Everything's Leo. I don't know.
He was Snoopy in one movie.
He's Snoopy.
Charlie Brownson here.
Unbelievable. Wow. How about Tony Danza though? You notice that his name is always Tony in everything he does?
Especially in real life. I'm always,
The Tony Danza Show. Couldn't even call it something different.
No, well, because listen, Tony. He was Tony in Taxi. He was on that show for 5-6 seasons. He was Tony on Who's the Boss. That show was another. So
Who's the Boss will be back in a moment. Stick around.
Wow, there you go.
I
Man.
cracked that joke on the show, I think, before. How did Who's the Boss come up on the show at least twice already?
Because of the Tony Danza thing. He always plays himself, or not plays himself.
He plays himself. He just plays himself.
More Tony Danza examples.
How about Tawny? Let's talk about Tawny.
Oh,
Tawny Danza?
Yeah, Tawny Danza.
She always plays. You know what? Tawny Katan always plays Tony Danza in other parts. In that Whitesnake video, she was channeling her inner Tony Danza.
She was channeling inner me or something, man. Because I tell you, on that girl.
She's passable as an actress. She did okay.
She's a very relatable character. Yeah, she's hot, and you root for her. She's a good character, and again, that's it. That's what carries the movie, and it probably carried the movie at that age for me. You know what I mean? The first time I saw that, look at this girl, and she's a good girl.
She looks like she just walks around in a robe the whole movie.
She does do a lot of robing. You're right.
Hosting parties and robing. Like that's it. Does she have a job? Is she a student? What does she do?
She's a law student with Brandon.
Yes, exactly.
That's why he makes up that complete, like, ridiculous term, progressive entrapment. He tries to pass that off as a ghost term, but that's clearly something he learned in his law book.
Right? It does sound like a law,
A law
legal
term, right?
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, progressive entrapment. Some you can
I am suing you, David, on the grounds of progressive entrapment.
She skipped more than one class. Like, he's like, we'll see you in class on Friday. They're law students. Shouldn't this be like a full-time thing? We never see her once in school.
She never goes to school. Jim was a doctor who now works construction.
Maybe I thought he was a professor. That's what I thought, and she was the student. But that doesn't make sense because
that's also what is that, a triplex or like a triplex? How many apartments are in that big house?
I know. I like it though. I don't know. Maybe it's a duplex. There's a top and
I think there's
bottom.
more than 2 apartments though. I think there's like at least 4.
It's like a big mansion that they turned into like a
quadplex.
I don't know. Isn't it cool though at the beginning when you first see it and you see the smoke around and shit? Kevin Tenney does the same thing with Night of the Demons. He sets things up. You know, he does a good deal with some of these shots and makes it look like, okay, almost like classic horror sometimes. He does that well.
You know, you're right, and because I was a fan of his, and I'd actually seek out movies that he directed as well. But I'm a huge Night of the Demons fan, and that suffers from amateurish acting as well. But that one, for whatever reason, has a swifter pace, and it's just a heck of a lot more fun.
I find the acting in Pinocchio's Revenge to be a little wooden.
What about Pin? What about Pin? A little plastic?
Pin? Plastic Nightmare?
Yeah. Have you ever seen that movie? By the way, no. Have we ever reviewed Pin?
I forgot we reviewed Pin. I was genuinely asking, and nobody responded to me.
Because it was an asinine question.
I didn't remember reviewing it.
It was for the '88 show.
Well, I remembered eventually, but nobody ever answered me. You guys just went right on.
It was preposterous. I thought it was a joke. I thought it was a joke. Well, I don't know. Why would you not remember? We talk about Pin more than any podcast ever, and then we reviewed it. I just thought you were just trying to be funny. Oh, have we ever reviewed Pin? I don't know.
I did not. I still don't remember reviewing Pin. I remember the '88 show.
Okay, we're gonna review Pin next show. We're gonna do one more time just so you can remember it.
Wait. For the viewers out there, I'm gonna turn into Pin. There.
Do I make you talk?
Back. Now I better. There's some special effects will be added there.
Awesome! Wow, do Pin. Fucking A. Nice.
Put a pin in it.
Wow, look at this production value. Put a pin.
Wow, I'm scared. You think that's what the director said when they were making that movie? Like, there's something missing. Put a pin in it.
Have you ever said that? Have you ever said that in your life to somebody with that meaning? Put a pin in it.
Put a pin in it doesn't mean I didn't ever know it meant shut up, did it? Put a pin in it.
Yeah, put a pin in it. Like
a pin in it there.
Yeah, like a balloon, right?
Well, just to remember.
Oh, is that what I thought it was? I thought the insinuation is put a pin in it, like you're ending it. In other words, it's putting a pin in a balloon.
Right.
Yeah, it always meant to like stop talking, like bring it to an end. But I like the fact that it's like, let's remember that. Like, oh, we got a wedding coming up. Put a pin in it. No, that doesn't work.
I picture a balloon blowing up. I picture like a cat.
Yeah. Freeze it for now, and we'll go back. Let's talk about it later.
No, I
Did you notice what Zarabeth said? Did you notice she said top notch?
She said top notch?
She said top notch job, Jim.
Oh, that's awesome. Wow. Good old Zarabeth.
You've said it. I remember now, but yeah, it didn't register for whatever reason.
Damn. We gotta get that on the soundboard. Top notch job, Jim.
She was an interesting character too, because I liked the way that they played with her being a character, and that she had like another voice and whatever, and had that and had that good joke in the car about I see you, like, or I can't remember. Anyway, like she was good for a secondary character.
Yeah.
Heck, did David go after her right away, or whatever, Senior go after her right away?
Malfader?
Just to kill?
Because he talked through her, I guess. That's my guess. I don't know. Oh, I know why. Because she was trying to put a stop to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she knew it was Malfader.
Right. She knew. She felt the presence.
And she was looking it up, and a picture of him was in the book she was doing the research on, because she told Brandon she would contact him later after she did her like research.
Yep.
She was onto him.
So isn't his end game to get reborn or to come back through her? Tawny's character, Linda or whatever? Isn't that his end game?
To possess, if he could, yeah. So the thing is...
Does he need that if he's been able to kill these people off one by one as a spirit?
I don't know why he just didn't do the rebirth.
Well, he's not a baby.
But he could have been reborn and grown up and become evil Malphader again.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to be that. He's
beard, just like Jason with the hockey mask and everything. He's like full bearded, like a full grown man.
or like baby Freddy in fucking Nightmare 5. Running away when they show him.
Did you notice after the whole seance thing? Did you notice that Brandon is the one massaging Linda?
Brandon, absolutely. And even in the beginning, the first scene when they're having the party, you would think that Brandon is her because he has his arm like this on her shoulder.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck am I?
That's why I think Jim's drinking and a little pissed off, and distant because although they were best friends, it was his ex-girlfriend. Brandon's ex-girlfriend, so I think there's this that creates that sexual tension as well.
Yeah,
good little additions to the characters there. I'll give him that.
It's pretty ballsy for him to come into this guy's house knowing that this guy used to be his best friend and that you know.
Yeah, but he's pissed off because he thought he stole him away. So he's like, "Fuck that! I'll try to do these small maybe not so subtle, but ways to try to get her back."
Well, I'll tell you, Jim is kind of a good sport. I think. You know what I mean? He just doesn't really sweat it all that much. He's secure in their relationship. He's cool. I mean, but then again, he comes off like he doesn't care as well. But that's a whole other part of the story. You know, this guy dealing with his emotions and everything else. But it's still, you have that stuff wrapped up in a cheesy 80s movie. You know what I mean? That's what I like about it, that you have that.
And there's some good kills.
Yeah, there is good kills. The score is good. The presentation, the atmosphere. There's something about it here. But the kills, yeah, the thing I wish it was honestly though, I wish we would have got to see more of the kills, you know, because they weren't cutaway, but they weren't as, you know, Zarabeth is great.
Zarabeth is great. I like that the after effect of that is that she had a slit throat, even though you don't see it.
Yeah.
I like the fact that Malphader is messing around and making it look like there's crimes going on. Same thing with Lloyd's death at the construction site with the rope being cut.
Yeah.
That's a shocking kill. That's probably
Definitely.
a jump scare the first time you see it. With that shit falling. But
sure
but the way he throws the hammer to Jim. Here, use mine. He chucks it right in his head.
That was for the preview. I'm pretty sure that made it into the trailer.
You know what that reminds me of, right? It's definitely like in Friday 1 with the fucking, you know what I mean? The arrow and the girl carrying the thing. Yeah, definitely like that. That's good stuff.
Right. The guy's fucking Houdini throwing it down. Which I like. The secondary characters are probably better than the main characters because the cop detective talking about the fascination with like magicians and everything, and then and say like I really just want to know how they did it.
I thought he was the worst. He was like a bumbling. I thought he was the worst. He was a bumbling idiot juggling oranges while people are in the hospital. It's like it was goofy.
Well, you're watching like it was goofy. It's got the whole scene that kind of like sums it up for me goofy wise is when he's talking through Tawny's character. She's wearing the fedora, holding the thing with the trench coat, and is like talking out loud. I'm like, this doesn't work.
Oh, I love it. I love the way that voice sounds. That's like a big plus for me.
So cheesy.
I don't love or hate it. I'm indifferent to it. It doesn't bother me, but
I think it's great. I've never seen a movie that does that. Usually it's one or the other. This is kind of a mixture of her voice.
Nighty Nightmare.
What's that?
Sorority House Massacre 2, Nighty Nightmare. And it's even cheesier than that one.
The voice sounds that way? It's half her voice and half an evil voice?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
See, that's on you. That's what I'm trying to say. Usually, when you see a possession movie, and someone, they talk differently. They just sound like a demon. This one is half Tawny. It's like they took Tawny's voice and they add something else to it. You know what I mean? Production-wise, and I don't know. I've always liked it because I can't think of another movie where it's like that. Kind of like the way I love the voices in Creepshow, the way they, the way they talk. Father's Day, the way he comes back and he has that voice, and the ones, if you can hold your breath. I don't know. Just I've always been attracted to the way that voice sounds from Tawny Kitaen. And maybe I'm just attracted to the way she looks in that scene. Her hair is just long.
The way she looks, but with a man voice.
With Leslie Nielsen's voice and Tawny
There you
Katan's
go.
body, that's it. You can hold your breath a long time. Did you notice in the cemetery? Did you notice in the cemetery that tombstone looked exactly like a penis?
No.
Oh my God! Why are you guys missing all this gold? I mean, it was literally a penis.
Oh,
It even had the little slit on top for the pee hole.
Are you kidding me?
I swear to God, this is not a joke. This is not a joke.
Not visual. You got to give us visuals. Like the only visual I gave you, and I'll throw it into the show too, is that goddamn suit at the end of the movie, which they can't head fake you thinking the guy died. You know, 1 second into that, when everybody's like in the pews there crying, you see the wedding paraphernalia like right away. So you know they're getting married.
Oh, not me. See, I always liked that transition. I didn't know the first time. I mean, maybe now, I guess, knowing with that knowledge, now that I'd be looking for it, I can see that.
Fucking suit the guy's wearing.
Well, I don't know.
The suit's ridiculous, but the fact that he survived, an 8th-story fall to the ground is even more ridiculous. But
I love the fall too, the way it's shot with him. Oh, I love it.
Why did the spirits have to be lousy spellers?
I don't know. I think that's actual.
Movie better to make the movie more suspenseful.
Yeah.
Her.
I don't know.
Her. Here. Ah!
It does work though.
He's
I think that's true. I think that's the mythology, though. I think that people say that the spirits are lousy spellers, the people that are into stuff like that. I could be wrong.
Best bit of acting in this film, at the docks, Jim, when he gets up after being knocked out. That woozy acting, like he was all disoriented, was absolutely fantastic. I'm not even joking. It was great. I was like, holy shit, he looks like he's really woozy.
Nice.
I believed it. I was on board. That was my favorite part of the movie.
Very cool. It's an emotional kill too. There are a few emotional kills in the movie. I don't know. There's things going on here. But to talk about comedy,
how did Brandon grab him though? Like an hour later after he'd been killed, he reaches up and grabs him.
I don't know. We see that stuff all the time in movies.
Switch of the death nerve.
Yeah, there it is. That's the meaning. Switch of the death nerve. It's a trope in horror. I noticed something for the first time. You can see a shadow going over the hammer that's on top of the building right before the first guy dies. And I've never noticed that all the times I've seen this. So they're basically showing the shadow of some type of presence that's going to, mess with that hammer and cut the wire or the rope, whatever it was doing. Never noticed that before. Yeah.
Maybe it was a camera error. Maybe it
could have been. It could have been. It could have been something that wasn't meant, but if not, you could take it either way. I never noticed that before.
Do spirits cast a shadow?
Well, Mel Fedor does, I guess. I don't know.
I also want to know, like, why they got married at the end. Like, no, the more realistic ending would be like, get the fuck away from me, bitch. You just tried to kill me. You're half possessed. I'd be freaked out. I'd never want to see this woman again.
Yeah, but
because
he
told her he loved her.
He finally came to
possessed.
That's the whole character arc here. He's incapable of showing emotion. He didn't even say "I love you" at the beginning, and at the end, he finally realizes that he loves her and she's the most important thing, and he wants to be with her and have kids with her because he looks so disappointed when he finds out she's not pregnant. The look on his face when he finds out she's not pregnant is like heartbreaking.
Right. See, so he does care. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. This movie is about relationships. It really is. And it's,
it is.
You care for it or you don't. But I mean, I like that. And I like the fact that it also doesn't work. He says, I love you. And it looks like it's going to let up. And it's not going to be that easy, James. I like that. How many movies have you seen when they say, I love you? And you know what I mean? Isn't that the end of Nightmare 2? Isn't that what happens? And
but also the shooting of the Ouija board is sort of just like a lame. It's sort of is really a weak, lame ending to close the portal. It doesn't really make much sense. Like, especially given the fact that Brandon's an expert and he wouldn't you have tried that first?
Well, you would try to destroy the board out of the gate instead of just trying to throw it in the garbage or something like that. But, oh, well, I mean, it's at this point, who's nitpicking? You guys seem to like it a lot more. But, yeah, that was pretty shoddy optical effects as well.
What about those swooping shots? The POV of you get freaking ghost POV or whatever you want to call it. I like that.
Well, yeah, it's cool. But, again, he did it in Night of Demons 2 years later. And I just look at it as Evil Dead. I always think of it as Evil Dead.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially with Zarabet's kill, like charging in and chucking her out the window.
That's true.
Evil Dead in the suburbs.
Right? Something else I like, the good old days. The good old days where you can watch a movie and they show you that it's a dream. They don't try to play you like nowadays when you see a scene in a movie and then there's a jump scare and then like, oh, they wake up in bed. In these days, in the 80s, when somebody was having a dream, and in this movie they show it, she's in bed, and then you see that she's dreaming. And then so you know something's going to happen, but at least you know. Just like in Hellraiser, they do the same thing. You know that Kirsty is dreaming in that scene. I like that. That's like a lost art.
Yeah, it was all a dream. She used to read Word Up magazine.
Exactly. But true though, you get what I'm saying?
Christian, I don't like the attitude on the response to that joke.
Who? See?
Yeah, he got very, very annoyed about a Biggie joke in the show.
What are you gonna do? He's a Tupac.
I didn't even get it. Sir, have a Tupac.
What do you want from me? That's all you could say, you know? So, anyway, yeah, the dream thing I think was cool, and I miss it in horror movies. So, and how about when that knife flies off that thing? That's a jump scare. All of a sudden, and then the blood from the thing. That stuff's great, man.
The ketchup?
Yeah, the ketchup blood. Yeah. I don't know. I dig it. It's, whatever. I enjoy the movie. I've always enjoyed the movie. So, again, this time, I'm not as high on it this time because I have to be true to it, and it did come down for me. So, but I still have this passion for it. It's still, it's a comfort movie. It's just one of those movies. You know, I can watch it anytime.
That's a good description of it. I don't hate this movie by any means. It's all right. It's enjoyable. I will pop it on every now and then. It's not like a comfort movie like I find Friday the 13th, the series at all, where I'll pop on like, a good chunk of them and play them a couple times a year. This one's just okay. Like, there's nothing inherently wrong with it. Like I said, even the amateur acting's all right. It's passable. Everything's just kind of passable in this.
That's fair. How about the slice in his face? When what's his name? When Brandon gets killed and he picks him up. Good makeup effects. So the aftermath there was good.
Yeah, that's good effects. Zarabeth's kill is good.
Yeah.
Lloyd's kill is good.
Yeah.
Everything's pretty good except for that ending. It's a slightly above average movie for me.
Oh, that's it? I'm going to say one more thing about it, though. The cans. Why did they put the cans? Why did they put all those? And where did he get all those empty cans in such a short time?
I thought the ghost did that, like in Ghostbusters with the library books.
Well, the ghost did knock him down. But what are their purpose? Just so we can show them not being knocked down. It's just funny to me that all of a sudden, like, oh, well, I asked Jim to get a couple of things together. And so in a matter of a couple hours, he was able to have fucking 80 empty cans. Like, well, where did he get the empty cans from? And why?
From the party.
Oh, thank you. See, anytime I try to say anything about
the movie, back up. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
It justifies my rating. How about that? Even the things that I want to poke fun at, most of them are explained. There you go. Wow. The reason for them, I think, is just for shock. Oh, let's show cans falling.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, that's a perfect explanation for it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm probably going to be the highest, but I'm not as high as I once was. But for me, I still have to give it that distinction of an 8 out of 10.
Whoa.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm 6.5.
I'm 6.5 as well.
Okay.
Didn't he sound like this is what Jason Smith is talking about?
I do like it, but a 6.5 is a good score. It's not. Okay. I can't go any higher than that.
But I think the way you describe it, I thought you were in 7 range for sure.
No,
I think at least it was true to a 6.5 kind of description of the movie.
See, you sounded like you were more 5.5.
Okay. I don't rate anything in 5.
I'm glad he wasn't.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I mean, this movie was on the list because I put it there. This is a movie I've always wanted to talk about.
Now Jason's going to be in our heads every time we give our ratings. Like, fuck.
Just a fucking rating. Who cares?
I explained my ratings. It's so funny that he said that because I recorded Wadsy a couple of days ago and we talked all about ratings and what they mean. And I went through like a thing.
That show.
Huh? Now I give him a reason. How's it? Another reason to listen. Hear all about the ratings, what they mean, and why they're there. And again, hey man, an 8 is great. That's what I remember, and I still consider it great. Maybe some of it's nostalgia, but it's one of those comfort movies for me.
This film needed a few more characters to have a few more kills and a better wrap up in that third act. And I guess so. And I think then it would have been a 7.5 type film.
Well, I tell you this. I don't think there's any other Ouija movie that's better about a Ouija board. I really do not. And don't say The Exorcist, because that's such a small thing. I do like that they do that, though. That same thing that happens to her in The Exorcist. You can't use them alone. Like, that's what I like about this movie. The Ouija itself has all this mythology to it, and they stay true to it. You know? I like mythology. I'm a sucker for that. With those 80s movies, especially when they talk about the history of it, and I don't know. I've always been. That's why I like.
That made perfect sense, and I mean, I think everyone kind of knows that. Knows a little bit about Ouija boards is that you can't use them alone. It makes you more susceptible and more open. They keep talking throughout the whole movie about how Linda, she's so open. She's so open.
Oh yeah.
I was like, Jesus. I was like, yes. I was like, Dad, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave the room. I have a massive erection right now.
She was fine as wine. That's all I could
Pop
tell.
on one of those rubber gloves and just help me out with this thing.
I was upset when she got all scraped up in the shower, though. That bothered me.
Yeah, and
she
smashed her way out good though.
Yeah, she got all chopped up. I think she lost a nipple.
Oh, stop. Ooh. Good old Tawny.
Tawny Katan. Look at you looking all sexy like Tawny Katan on that car.
She's awesome. Ooh,
I remember being higher when I was younger on this movie. I remember really looking forward to checking out Witch Trap because, for whatever reason, because of Witch being in the name, same director, you kind of figure there's a connection somehow. And I remember being very disappointed with that film, but I have not seen it since.
I think it's on YouTube now. I might have to watch it just for the hell of it and mention it next show because I never have watched it. You know what I mean? Maybe
you should watch it. I don't know if you should mention it.
Nice. Well, I guess that's it. Yeah, put a pin in it. That's Witchboard.
Put a plastic nightmare in
it. Nice. We're going to do a couple questions, and then we're going to do another movie. So we'll get right on that. I don't know if you guys have seen this or not, but I guess on the last show we were talking about, how much bullshitting we were doing as far as, just saying whatever we're talking about and just kind of going on. And they started saying things about it. Like Christine says, bullshit the whole show if you want, and I'll still support you. You know what I mean? Yeah, and then Adolfo comes in and says, I'm with Christine. You guys go off and rant about whatever as long as you like. I always have a good time hearing you guys shoot the shit. So that's great. And then George comes in and says, absolutely agree with my fellow patrons. You guys bullshit all you want. The bullshitting is a perfect way to get things going. Your skills as podcasters and entertainers are unmatched, in my very humble opinion. Yeah, we like that. Unmatched.
Wow.
Yeah. So
and then Christine also, when she couldn't get access to the show, and I don't know what was going on.
Everybody had a problem. A lot of people had issues.
Okay, well, if you have a problem, let me know, because especially with the video one, it's a link. So I can send you guys a link. I can send a link in mass email to the people that are being affected by it, but the infected.
Link. It's like another outbreak of corona. If you've been infected by patrons,
our show's secure.
Patrona.
Patrona.
But I can send a link to 19. That. And again, if the audio only version is still not showing up on the feed, I don't know. It shows up for me. Other people said it showed up for them. The solution seems to be to log out of Patreon and then log back in if you're still.
Actually, not even.
Am I wrong?
No,
not even that.
It's worse. They have to basically act as if they're leaving, delete their pledge, and then sign back up.
Whoa, let's not be hasty. No, do whatever you need to do to do it, and then if that's what works, it works. So there's more than just them.
There's I think there's like 3 or 4. I don't know. As soon as we can start going bigger on this thing,
I gotta be honest. I figured out the solution. They want you to up your pledge, and then you'll get it.
Well, that's what John Rhodes did. And it worked. I don't know.
Yeah, that seems to work. No,
that's it. Okay.
No, all joking aside, it shouldn't matter. But for whatever reason, when this happened, we were having issues. So do not up your pledge because of that.
No.
It's not an issue, but that might have to be what you have to do. You have to unsubscribe and then resubscribe. Same amount. Don't fall for Brandon's ploy to give us all more money.
Don't fall for his Jew tactics.
We don't mind. We'll take it, man. We love it. It's good. So
let's get to these questions, because this is going to be an extension, I think, of the discussion we were getting into last week.
Okay, we'll do that. We'll do that one first.
Not only that, that's a question I feel like we've answered 100 times, but maybe we haven't Don't you feel like we've done this question a bunch?
We have talked about it in various forms.
That's
yeah.
probably what it is. We always talk about it, but I don't know if we've ever officially done it.
Well, we did Year of the Franchise. So at the end, we talked about the franchises that were, I think, our standouts. And I don't remember if there was an issue with we only logged the ones that we covered, or if it was all.
That's what we did. No, here's what we did. Because we covered 15 franchises that year in the Year of the Franchise. So at the very end of it, we said, let's rank the 15 franchises that we covered. The reason I know is because I just listened to it, because it was helping me with this question. I was like, well, let me see here. How did I feel here? What's going on? Then I did it again on the Skeleton Crew, but I just did 5. So like, okay, let me use that for research, and let's see if anything's changed, and let me just try to, weigh it all in. So
did we do the Pin franchise?
Not yet. Not yet. Maybe that's what we should make. Pin 2.
Pin 2.
Pin 2. Put a pin in it.
Steal the Mannequin 2 movie. Plot. Pin.
We can do it.
Wait. Pin 2.
And then Pin 3, put a pin in it. I think that would work better, because that'd be the last one. It's a trilogy. I stole Brandon's joke. I don't know.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
I leaned back and my earphones came out. Plug.
I fell down the stairs and my shoes fell off.
I leaned back and I pulled the damn cord out.
All joking aside, the next movie we're gonna cover, even though it was a flop box office wise, deserved to be a trilogy.
Oh, a trilogy?
A trilogy, a prequel movie, and a follow-up.
Okay, I guess that's fair.
And now that we've watched it fresh, I said this way back when. Do you believe it? Do you agree? Is Hellraiser in space?
Dude, it's fucking Hellraiser. I watched that video that Jason sent us. I mean, we'll talk about it more, but that Jason sent us, and they talked about the connections with Amityville and The Shining, and of course that's there. But this is the better Hellraiser in space movie.
Yeah, and I've always said that. She even says, "I've such sights." Oh, we'll get into it after.
She does say that.
Yes,
I have such things to show you. I have such beautiful things to show you, or whatever. Such nightmares to show you.
We'll get to that next. But right now, John Rhodes had a couple of questions. One of them was just rank your top 10 horror franchises. What do you got? So that's what we got.
Do we want to do 10 through 5 or 10 through 6?
10 through 6.
10 through 6. All right, this was hard. And I'm just going to give... This is not cheating. I'm just giving an honorable mention because I excluded certain things that some people count as franchises. I excluded stuff like Conjuring. Stuff like that. I excluded the Romero Dead films. But I want to give a shout out to the Lecter franchise. Because sure. I'm not counting it as a franchise, but between Manhunter, Silence, Hannibal, and Red Dragon, plus the show, I love it. I never saw Hannibal Rising, but my 10 through 6.
Oh, really?
I never saw Hannibal Rising, no. 10 through 6 for me. Number 10, Paranormal Activity. Number 9, Nightmare on Elm Street. Number 8, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Number 7, Final Destination. Number 6, Insidious.
Wow, that's a surprise. Insidious is a bit of a surprise for me.
I love all 4 of them. I really do.
Nice. No, I haven't seen the 4th one yet. But anyway, we'll cover that one day. So we'll save our thoughts
tomorrow. Let's do it.
If somebody picks it, it's on the list there. You know what I mean? So.
Well, and I'll preface mine with I didn't leave out the Romero films. However, it depends on how you look at them, because ultimately I looked at it like night, dawn, and day. And I guess if you want to throw Land in, I think you can with that as well. And I think that is a fair assessment.
And Bruiser goes.
And of course, Bruiser is part of that.
Bruiser.
Yeah, okay. So my 10 to 6 are paranormal. Number 10, Paranormal Activity. Number 9, Final Destination. Number 8, Saw. Number 7, Nightmare on Elm Street. And number 6, Psycho.
Very cool.
Psycho.
Oh, Psycho.
Very cool. I'm so happy. To hear Paranormal Activity show up on both ears. That's awesome. Man.
One of the strongest franchises. One of the strongest horror franchises.
It's consistent.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know if I have a 10, but I've got consistent good ratings throughout.
Exactly.
Even the weaker entries still are well above average.
Yeah, part 4, which is the weakest entry, to me is like like a part 5 in the Saw franchise. It's still watchable and entertaining to an extent, but it might not drive the story forward as much.
Nice. You know what? The thing about my list is that it's a little different, but it's a little the same. But there's going to be some obvious inclusions.
It's different in that it has no franchises on it.
Well, I mean, okay. Here's my 10 through, and I did include Romero, because number 10, Final Destination. Number 9, Evil Dead. There you go, Mr. Rhodes. Number 8, Romero's Dead. Now, I have to include it because there are 6, and I'm including 6 because it's only fair. But it's probably
7 if you count Bruiser.
It's one of 2 franchises. It's one of only 2 franchises that, in my opinion, I give 3 10 out of 10s in. The first
for sure.
Are there.
Well, that's the only reason why I brought that up, that I don't count, because I could have added it, and it probably would have been close to number 1 because of the fact that those first 3 films are all 9.5 10s. You know, they're just that good.
But I'm okay with the next 2. Land, you know, it's like a 6.5 for me, and so is Diary. And
yeah, I don't
hate those Survival beginning to end.
I don't remember Survival, but Land and Diary I had no issues with. I didn't hate them like some other people do.
No, I don't hate them. They're just kind of there. They're just kind of like I don't know, like Halloween 4 for me or something like that. Yeah. I don't hate them, but if the thing that the difference is people don't praise those movies, so I don't have to say anything about it. When people praise Halloween 4, I'm like, well, wait a minute. But anyway, that's a whole other thing. So that was my number 8. Number 7.
It's shot against Christian tonight.
A lot of people, not just you. Number 7 is Sleepaway Camp, and number 6, Paranormal Activity. So there you have it.
Nice, man.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff so far. All right, B.
All right. 5, 2, 1. 1, baby. 5.
Nice.
All right. Number 5, Halloween. Number 4, Friday the 13th. Number 3, Sleepaway Camp.
Wow.
Number 2, Psycho. And number 1, Saw.
Wow. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Right. Saw at 1.
Woo. Yes. I mean, consistently, year in, year out, when a Saw film drops, I get more excited about a Saw film coming out than any other franchise film.
That's fair.
Love it.
No, that's good. I'm glad you love it, and we may be covering it eventually. We just had a discussion before the show came on concerning that, so maybe down the road that will be covered. So
I'll have to see Saw.
And there we go again.
There we go.
Number 5, Halloween. Number 4, Evil Dead. Number 3, Romero. Well, just, you know.
That's why it's not a franchise, because you have to say number 3, Romero.
Number 2,
Romero Part 2.
Number 2, Friday the 13th. And number 1, Texas Chainsaw.
This fucking guy. Number 1, Texas Chainsaw. Get out of here.
I can't
Texas Chainsaw. Because no matter how we did the math, when I was calculating it, you're like, take your 8 highest rated Fridays. That's not fair. So then, and if I took the whole series, it was low. The average was lower. And if I took just the first 8 of Friday the 13th, just the first 8, the average was still lower than all 8 Texas Chainsaw.
That's crazy. Because you guys don't stop talking about Friday the 13th.
Well, it's true. Episode, I love Jason, but what I've realized is I fucking love Leatherface too.
Smith, Lloyd, or Voorhees?
Oh, none of them.
None of them. Just Voorhees.
Smith. If I have a choice, Smith. Do I have fuck, kill, marry? What?
Hey, fuck, kill, marry. The 3 Jasons.
Oh, wait till I have to answer that question and cut to the chase.
Yeah, we have to correct that too. The episode 100. Another list controversy. We thought the J. Murph list controversy was the big thing, but we corrected that during the show. It turns out we mentioned Jason Lloyd submitting a list. It wasn't Jason Lloyd's list. It was Jason Smith's. I don't know why.
Fucking Jason's.
I know Jason.
Jason.
Yeah,
it was.
But it was Jason Smith. So thank you, Jason Smith.
Well, I don't know the craziest thing. As you guys were talking about Jay, I just got a notification on my phone right now, and it says Jay McCabe has just edited their pledge. So right as they're talking about J's,
From
He bumped up.
$3 to 0.
no, from 1 to 3 actually.
1, 2, 3. 3, 2,
So,
1.
welcome aboard. Welcome aboard, Jay.
Welcome
Thank-
aboard.
thank
You can
see
finally
us.
listen to the show.
Yeah, well, thank you. But it's weird that you guys are talking about Jays and Jasons, and then a J popped up in the middle of all that. I'm like, what? Ah, that's crazy.
What if he doesn't get access? What if he's like, he just doesn't, goes, I'll finally get access to that episode, and then it's not there like everybody else was saying.
Oh.
These fucking crooks.
We got a Daisy off.
Oh, I'm not a crook.
Nice. Okay, my top 5. Here we
All right.
go. No, hey, we're good. Number 5, Ju-on, the Asian series. Love them.
Call me?
Jew off. No. Put up here.
Hey, you've been off this whole episode.
Nice. So yes, the Ju-on franchise, I love it. If you want to throw the American Grudge movies in there too, it's not really going to hurt it. There's a couple more hits than misses, so that's fine. But I love the Ju-on series. Hopefully we can cover that someday. That's always been something I wanted to do. Number 4, Psycho. Number 3, Saw. Number 2, Halloween. Number 1, Friday the 13th. The only true Friday.
There's the fanboy. There's the fanboy right there. Take that, JP.
Yeah. I'm just being real in the feel.
I get it, but let me get right down to this. There's no way you have a connectivity to the Texas Chainsaw franchise the way you do Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th fanboyism, it's almost like the way I feel, it's like being in an exclusive club. It's something we grew up with. It's something we're passionate about.
It's true.
I can't
No,
think
it scared me as a kid that got me into movies, but that's the nostalgia play. But from an actual cinematic standpoint, I just watched all the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies, and Return to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the 4th one, is the most abysmal one. That one, or the next generation.
Does anyone call it Return to Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Only the true fucking assholes.
That was such a
Canadian
highfalutin
thing.
Yeah, that's such a highfalutin.
50-50. The first half of the movie actually shows a little bit of promise. You're like, okay. And then they just shit the bed. The second half, like 100%. And then other people that shit on Texas Chainsaw 3D, which I kind of did upon initial release. Funny enough, I like it now. It holds up. There's just that do your thing, cuz that part I could do without. That one line I could do without.
Do your thing, cuz. Why, it reminds you of a bad memory when you fucked your cousin? Do your thing, cuz. Yeah, your male cousin. Yeah, your male cousin.
Please stop, cuz. Fuck me in the rumper, cuz. Other than that line, the movie's all right. And funny enough, you're talking about things that just popped up. There was something that popped up on my newsfeed too. Gary Miller. Christian Luciene rewatched Texas Chainsaw 3D after what you said on the last show. I guess I did talk about it on 101 as well. For whatever reason, when I watched it back when it came out in 2013, I thought it was complete garbage. But when I rewatched it a few nights ago, I found it very enjoyable. Maybe I was holding it up against the first 2 Texas Chainsaw Massacre films. Texas 1 and 2 are probably my two favorite horror movies of all time. I had a friend of mine also rewatch it as he listens to the podcast as well. Chris, a.k.a. Scott, now enjoys Texas Chainsaw 3D as well.
Nice.
That is all that's important, Dave C. The second watch. Oh, the all-important Dave Z's second watch is what they said.
Got it. It does make a difference. But the thing is this. I like it. I like Texas Chainsaw 3D. Here's the problem, and I'll give it props for this. It is the only true Leatherface movie. There's no family. He's the central character. That's what's good about it. It's a Leatherface. He's running rampant. He's doing his things. He is the focus for once. The only time in this whole franchise, Leatherface is the focus is that movie. So I like that. The timeline thing just really messes.
It's worse than Halloween. You're talking about Halloween going 1 and 2, 4, and everything like this. It's like this goes 1 and 2, and then 1 and 3, and 1 and 4.
I don't mean it that way. I mean it picks up at the end of 74 right, when the first one ends, then it's supposed to be 20 years later. So it should be taking place, like, let's say, for example, 94, right? But this girl has a cell phone, and it's actually in the 2000s. It doesn't make sense. Like, from that standpoint, it's 20 years later, I believe. So it should be 94 life, yet it's 2013 life. That's what doesn't make it. It's not. There's no way. It's 20 years
we
later.
need to do this franchise.
Well, this is a golden ticket franchise. Then it's a top tier. That's the only way we'll do it. It's a golden ticket.
I always enjoyed
Let's sign up.
obviously the first three and Leatherface. I haven't seen Next Generation or remake or 3D in a long time. Is that all?
In the beginning.
The beginning. Yeah.
Oh, the beginning blew me away. Like, I mean, I remember enjoying that in the theater, but I really dug it. The only downfall of that one is knowing that it's being set up for, so you know, kind of like the outcome of the characters because of where they have to go.
Yeah.
I almost wish it came out first.
Yeah. Did you have to beat up your pop filter?
I did. Fucking into it, man.
Well, because he misses his sock, so he wants to abuse the pop.
Cinematography in these movies, cinematography is exquisite in all of them almost.
Exquisite? What are you, Snoop Dogg? Man, that cinematography is exquisite.
Exquisite. What do you say? He's JP? Is that what you call him?
No, I called him Snoop Dogg.
Oh,
This
Snoop Dogg.
cinematography is exquisite, man.
That's something JP would do too.
It's exquisite.
That's great. Every time I hear the word exquisite, I think of Dot and the Bunny. Did you ever see Dot and the Bunny?
No.
Okay, and Dot, it's a follow-up to Dot and the Kangaroo. And in this movie, Dot meets all these
Makes anything different to me.
Yeah,
What the fuck? I don't even know.
What is this?
You never saw Dot and the Kangaroo?
No.
Oh,
What's that the follow-up of?
Stop. You have got to see Dot and the Kangaroo. It was something in the 80s.
The Dot Matrix.
Oh, dude. Go see Dot and the Kangaroo. It's unforgettable. And the thing is, there's this scene in that. It's called the Bunyip, and it used to scare the shit out of me when I was a little kid. I'm telling you, Dot and the Kangaroo. Watch Dot and the Kangaroo. I'm telling you.
Is it a comedy? Is it a horror? What is it?
It's a kids movie. It's the cartoon. Okay. The cartoon is Dot. Dot is the cartoon. Everything else, like, it's hard to explain.
I want to see it now. Dot and the Kangaroo. He's like, you never heard of Dot and the Kangaroo?
And the ending is fucking haunting. Oh my god.
And what's the second one?
It's emotional. It's emotional. Well, it doesn't matter. I saw it in the 80s on HBO. Okay? So, dude, I'm telling you, watch Dot and the Kangaroo. And anyone that's
how many of these films are there? Can we put the Dot franchise up there? Jim K might up his pledge and the Dot franchise.
I think Dot and the Bunny is the only sequel. I think.
Oh, you know what? This kind of sounds like it reminds me of Watership Down. Watership Down. Have you seen that? That terrified me.
Yeah, Watership Down is exquisite.
Every time I flush my toilet, it's Watership Down.
I have no TP. I just water that shit down.
Exquisite, man.
Exquisite.
But yes, it is like Watership Down. So anyway, there was an ostrich in Dot and the Bunny, and this is what he says. For some reason, the way they make them talk. There you go. Yep, the way they make them talk. They do a lot of swallowing. the ostrich just go boom, and then they talk. Right earlier. As they do it, they're talking sometimes. So at one point, they ask an ostrich a question, and he says it was exquisite. So every time I heard the word exquisite, I always think about that ostrich. It's just the way my mind works. Exquisite. Anyway, you don't have to watch Dot and the Bunny, but everybody listening or watching, just give a little of your time to Dot and the Kangaroo. I'm telling you, you won't go wrong. It's really good. I own the DVD actually. But yeah. Anyway, let's move on. Thank you, John, for that first question. And now to the second question. I'm going to read this verbatim from his message here. And it says, all right, let's play a game. Saw. Okay. The game is called Who Did It Better? Yes, Chainsaw. I'll give you guys two films to compare and discuss based around the same concept, and you have to decide which did it better. Ready to play? It doesn't fucking matter. I paid, and this is my question. Who did it better?
Next episode. I'm joking.
Yeah, cliffhanger. Did we ever come back to any of our cliffhangers?
No.
I don't think we did.
We never will.
Who did it better? April Fool's Day or Slaughter High?
April Fool's Day.
That's it?
April Fool's Day for sure.
Okay, well, I guess John wanted a discussion. I'm going to elaborate a little bit on it.
I'll discuss too.
People know, you guys kind of razz me about it, my love for Slaughter High. Okay, I also am a big fan of April Fool's Day. Now, when he says who did it better, this is my, the thing that ties them together is April Fool's Day itself. They both take place on April Fool's Day. So John, if you want to know who did it better as far as conceptually for an April Fool's Day movie, my answer, I have to be true, has to go to April Fool's Day.
Yeah, it does.
Slaughter High, I enjoy a little bit more, but it's just one of those movies for me. But the thing about Slaughter High is they don't do it. I guess they do it right in the UK where it ends at noon or some weird thing, and it's kind of just like
Canada too.
Canada too?
We sing it.
I was gonna say,
April Fool's Day.
Right, there you go. The singing Canadians.
This fucking morose motherfucker.
Morose.
That's a word. Morose. So,
Exquisite.
I don't think Slaughter High does a good job. Who is it? I don't think it does a good job of portraying April Fool's Day the way we like to see it portrayed. It's almost like it's an afterthought. It doesn't need that. Honestly, Slaughter High would have been just fine without anything having to do with April Fools. Just make it be a revenge tale, and he's trying to kill his classmates, and then we get the reveal at the end where none of it matters.
Exactly, and it doesn't even feel like an April Fool's movie, whereas April Fool's, the title is a giveaway, yet everybody is fooled by this movie the first time they see it.
That's what's good about it.
And it's so brilliant, and it's still entertaining, even though, in the end, it's all a big joke. Everything makes sense. I like the characters. I like everything about the film. I like the kills. I like the fact that it carries on after each kill, so there's an explanation. They bring the next person, the next victim in on the gag. Because people be like, oh, well, once one person disappears, why didn't they just come out and say, hey, it's all a joke? They're in on it now.
I agree. I mean, they did the joke better. They did the payoff better, and it's a better made movie.
And the silent talking
That's fair.
at the end.
Better kills in Slaughter High.
Well,
more nudity.
True.
No,
Yeah.
don't talk about NFW. Oh, nudity. I thought you said nudity. Nudity.
Nudity. Nudity.
I did not
Nudity.
say
It
that.
could be like another nickname.
Look
It's like
at
a
this
bad rapper.
morose motherfucker right here.
Yeah, they call me Nudie T. Yes. Okay, so we hope that we answered.
I really do want to give Slaughter High another watch.
Go into it now, knowing what you know. Just have fun.
Exactly. That was it. That was a first time watch for me when we did we review it?
We did. I'm pretty sure.
It was a joke. Yeah. I knew we were.
And it was funny when it was on Shudder. I swear the framing on that, you see Dick at the beginning. But then if you watch some of the other versions of it, when he's in the shower, you don't see Dick.
Really?
Were you upset when you didn't see Dick?
I was very upset. I wanted the uncut version.
And I give it to me, cuz. Wait,
Well,
where is it, cuz?
Well, was the actor himself cut or uncut? You saw it, right?
Yeah, well, I can't remember, to be honest.
Okay. Unbelievable. Okay, so there we go. Thank you, John. And there is one more question that I had via chat, I believe. And it was just something that was brought up. But can I find it now? Probably. No, here it is. Because I was talking to Dale Strom on there. And he says he just wanted to know, this is a real quick thing. The movie Joker. If you didn't know this was a comic book character or have any pre-knowledge of Batman, etc., would you consider this a horror movie on its own merit? Did we all see Joker?
Yeah. And no.
No.
No?
Not a horror film. Just like Natural Born Killers. You consider Natural Born Killers a horror film? It's about serial killers. That one I would actually say could lean more into that. But no, it's the way it's presented, the way we're given the material. And I don't think Joker goes into that realm.
In a way, I see where he's coming from. And I know people that consider it a horror film because you see his descent into madness. And you see, where he goes off in like a dream state, if you will. He imagines things happen, but they didn't. And we've seen that in horror movies before. The payoff doesn't come till the last act. But I mean, I could see how some people could consider it that because it's like a fringy movie. But I mean, like Taxi Driver. Would you consider Taxi Driver a horror movie?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
And Taxi Driver would be closer to horror than Joker, because even though they're both pretty much the same in terms of characters' descent into madness, Taxi Driver reaches a point where it's grotesque and violent and shocking to the audience, whereas I don't think Joker ever quite reaches that point where it's trying to like nauseate you with gore or scare you or frighten you.
I think it's there to frighten you. I think
the subject matters frightening. I just mean in terms of like, you know, the actual idea of making a scary movie or a horror movie.
Yeah.
So. I guess if maybe he was killing people throughout, you know, if it was shown, even at the end, if they retroactively said that he killed this girl. Because here's a question. I don't care if it's spoiler or not. The thing is this. I was having a discussion. Remember the girl that he thinks that he's dating, and then we find out he's not, and he goes into her apartment, and that whole thing is revealed. Does he kill her, or do we just not see her again? This is a discussion I had with my mother and my brother and my daughter.
You don't know the answer. You don't see it again, but I believe the director said that she is not killed.
But there is no implication, is there?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Don't you think? I don't know.
I never assumed he killed her because, you know, he thought so highly of her. And, you know, the brief interaction she had, you know, she did smile at him and acknowledge him, which is more than most people in that film did to him. So I think that, unfortunately, even though it's a brief, you know, 30-second interaction, that's probably one of the best relationship he has.
Okay, just because I didn't remember. I've only seen it once. You know my memory. And like somebody, there's a conversation we had in text, and I was like, did he kill that girl? I don't know. I can't remember. I remember he went back. I remember the scene, and she's like, "Who are you?" And that's when things are revealed, and I'm like, "Okay, wait a minute." And then how did that end? Did he just walk out, or
I only would have questioned it had he killed the little guy in the apartment, but he let him go, and he was the other character who was nice to him, which told me that this character has, you know, like integrity and honor, even though like he's obviously sick and twisted at this point. But it's really society's fault.
Okay, so we say no. We say we don't consider a horror, even with the knowledge or without it. Doesn't make a difference. But again, I won't give somebody too hard of a time because to me, it's a fringe. I've seen movies make horror lists that in my opinion, were a little less horrific than this. That are fringy.
Well, look, Joker showed up on a couple of top 100 lists. I think it showed up on like 2 lists, but I mean, I have no problem with people putting it.
It's a fantastic film, but I don't.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. Okay. Well, we're all in agreement, so that's always good. Okay. So, I guess we have a movie to review, and then we get out.
Sounds good.
Sounds good to me too.
We're reviewing Get Out. Okay.
Yeah. That is a double feature. Maybe someone will get that one of these days. I really want to hear some thoughts on that, Mr. Brandon. I think he's gonna hate on it. No, I'm just kidding.
Hate on what? Get Out?
He likes Get Out a lot.
I'm just kidding. I'm just. You never know with this guy. You never know lately with this cat.
It's okay. All right, 1997's Event Horizon, directed by Paul Anderson. A rescue crew investigates a spaceship that disappeared into a black hole and has now returned with someone or something new on board.
Well, the first joke I'll crack is, this is nothing like Boogie Nights at Magnolia.
Boogie Nights and Magnolia?
Well, that was Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah.
Oh.
Paul Anderson.
The better Paul Anderson. Although I do like the way he said Boogie Nights.
Boogie.
Boogie Nights.
Boogie Nights. Anyway, but all joking aside, this is probably his best film. He gets shit on a lot. He's kind of like the Michael Bay of horror. He did the Resident Evil series. Yeah. And he does like a lot of action, horror. He did Soldier, which is actually another decent one of his movies. And of course, this is probably his best. I like to think of it as his best.
Predator.
Yeah, I saw this in the theater.
Mortal Kombat, right?
Yeah.
He did Mortal Kombat, and that's how we got this, because it actually made a killing at the box office. And that was because of the success of Mortal Kombat. That's how he got this gig.
Mortal Kombat! I saw that. That's the whole movie summed up right there.
That's my best humming of Mortal Kombat.
You call that humming?
Lambert doing like
My best
doing
music or whatever.
I'm like, well, you're not a good hummer, so maybe that.
I remember when the trailer.
You're a
for
Ben
this.
Hummer.
This one had a great trailer. I'm going right into the movie.
Yeah,
we'll
let Christian review the movie.
No.
While we...
No. I guess we shouldn't go into it. Did you even
Nice.
announce? You haven't even done everything yet, have you?
Yeah, do it, B. Hum and then give your synopsis.
You just
synopsis already.
Oh,
okay.
Look at
Directed
you
by.
guys get mad at me for asking if we reviewed Pin. I already did the synopsis like 30 seconds ago. These morose motherfuckers right here.
Oh.
The trailer for this when I was in the theater, I remember saying this is going to be great. The effects at the time were great with the gravity, the lack of gravity and everything floating through. And I remember seeing the trailer of the buddy. I'm like, we got to check this movie out. And yeah, it was my.
You gotta do our thing, cuz.
Do I think we gotta check this out? Then you gotta give it to me, cuz.
The best part of it is I went and I had a pack of cigarettes rolled up in my sleeve. Sitting on the balcony. There's no balcony.
I didn't have them rolled up in my sleeve. So it might depend. All I know is that I had cigarettes. You know where I had a gray denim jacket with an AC/DC patch on the back, and I had inside a pocket. I had those Marlboros. Believe me, I didn't roll it up in my sleeve like a greaser. What am I? What is this, the 1950s?
Check out this movie. I don't know why he's a gangster now.
Now he's a 30s gangster in the 50s.
But I remember this movie scared the shit out of you. It manages to get under your skin.
Oh boy, yeah.
This is the film I watched twice.
Of course.
Obviously, I think this is the better film. The only other time I saw this was when I was working at Hollywood Video, and I was working at it when it came out on VHS. I remember stocking this on the shelves on VHS, and I had no recollection of it. I remember liking it.
Wow.
I watched it the other night for what I'll consider like a first time watch. It's been 22 years, and I enjoyed it. And then I'm like, last night, I'm like, you know what I did? I watched the video that Jason sent us. He sent us some YouTube video, a very good video talking about the film. And I was like, man, this got me more excited about the film than my first watch. So let me watch it again. I threw it on last night. I had an even better experience last night watching it. And I was just like, this is a really good film. And yeah, I'm looking forward to talking about this one.
I think you brought up a good point. We should thank you, Jason Lloyd, for sending that video to us.
Yes.
Jason Smith. Jason Smith.
Yes, and Jason Lloyd will be joining us on episode 103.
Awesome. Oh, that's great. I never heard of this movie until into the 2000s.
Really?
Until the online horror community. Until I got back into the game with horror, and I was putzing around online and message boards and stuff. So somehow I missed this movie being released entirely. But again, what year did it come out?
97.
There's your answer. I came back in for a hot minute in 96, and by 97 I was, because this is the truth. I was into it all through the 80s. I dropped out by 93. I was done with it. Horror took a shit, in my opinion. I was done with it. So I took time off. Then, like I said, I came back in 96 for a hot minute because of Scream, and it's been documented. It didn't resurrect horror because I came back in.
I went back.
Then I was out again.
I realized I saw more horror films in the theater in the 90s than.
Oh, without a doubt, me too.
I probably didn't miss a horror movie, and a lot of times I went to see them twice. So I went back. I saw Leprechaun in the theater. I saw Dr. Giggles. I saw Popcorn. I saw Texas Chainsaw: A New Beginning. I mean, I'm just naming it. Word of Illusions, Body Parts, every Brain Scan, everything that came out that got released.
The amazing thing is half of those didn't even come out in theaters.
No, they all did.
No, I'm just kidding.
Well, it is Canada. It's Canada.
They don't have anything else to do. They only have hockey as a sport. So.
Hockey and Christian and his friends are outside singing in the choir before they go in.
I want to choke the fucking shit out of both of you.
Did you guys? I'm gonna put your heads as trophies. What do you always say?
I want them back here. I want to move this shit and have your two fucking heads here. And three voices.
That could be in the movie. Oh.
What do you think, Dave? I think it's great, Christian.
That would be a great final shot. Your head there and mine on one side and Brandon's on the other.
What exploded heads?
Yes. That's their first movie, of course. Checkout's going to come after. It's the checkout's going to be great.
I already got the premise for Checkout kind of down. I needed the backstory. I needed to have something. It's totally old school.
That's how it should be.
Totally old school.
We'll get on it. But this movie here, boy, what a great film.
Mazel tits.
Mazel tov?
Yes, Mazel tov.
Okay.
Oh, did I crack up? Bedazzled tits. I said totally old school, but every tit is going to have like piercings and stuff in it.
Oh, wow. Did you ever see that movie, Bedazzled?
No,
Maybe
but
it's Bedeviled. I don't know, but what's her name was in it? And she was like ridiculously hot.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Hurley.
Yes.
Deaf, you said?
no, bedeviled, not bedazzled.
It is Bedeviled. Oh, okay. See, that's where I got confused because there's the horror movie Bedeviled, and then there's this Bedeviled. And there's another real bad movie called Bedeviled that I think came out in like 2017 or something.
Bedeviled? What are you talking about? Bedazzled.
Is it bedazzled?
It is Bedazzled. So I was right the first time.
Yeah, Bedazzled. Bedeviled is an Asian film. Bedazzled is Elizabeth Hurley.
But she plays the devil. That's why people think, or I thought of it as Bedeviled.
No, it's Bedazzled.
Well, it's called Bedazzled, but she plays the devil. You know what I'm saying?
But it's a comedy. It's not a horror film. It didn't make the top 100.
It's worth watching for her. That's all I can say. I mean, Maud and that. Ooh. Anyway, Event Horizon gets better every time I watch it. I've seen it like maybe 4 times now. And
3 now for me.
It just keeps getting better.
Yeah.
It's great.
But it is Hellraiser in space. It's better than Hellraiser 4 Bloodline or whatever.
It is.
And the reason I say that is they say they literally went to hell. Now, my big thing is they went to hell and it's all pain and suffering. That's what this universe is or dimension is. But if that's their norm, how would they know that that's pain and suffering?
Wait a minute. Who?
What I mean by that is in that realm, if all you've got is like your eyes on your hands and you're like you're all in pain and suffering and blood and tied up and whatever, and that's all you've known, how is that hell? That's just
how isn't it? No, wait, whoa.
They're saying, how would the entities from that dimension have a knowledge of what pain and suffering is if that's the norm?
Are you talking about Event Horizon or Hellraiser?
I'm talking about Event Horizon.
Okay.
They go into that realm pulls hell back as a vision or whatever. Where I'm going with it is, like, the only reason it's horrific to us is because that's some scary-ass shit to us. But in that realm, that's their world.
Why is it their world? It's hell. It's people die and go to hell. That's what it is.
I think they still have a concept of what life is like in other dimensions. I mean, we're in a universe here where interdimensional travel has taken place. They colonized the moon. They colonized Mars. They're getting lost out in Neptune. You know, we're talking about a science fiction movie here. So,
but the thing is, accept it. But how could you? I don't get the question because
I get what he's saying.
It's half joke but half serious.
Yeah,
I don't
get it. Sound like they went to another dimension or another realm.
Which happened to be hell.
Well, I think they coined it hell. They said it's like it would be like hell. I didn't think it was literally hell.
If you're going there, I do. You're going there and being tortured, and all these terrible things are happening to you, and there's all evil intent. What else would you call it? Just some evil galaxy? Call it whatever you want. I guess human beings would call that hell.
Yeah, they even say it's just a word, but he's saying the entity that's possessing the ship and, possessing Dr. Weir's character, is saying, it's, pain and suffering. And he's saying, how would they have a knowledge that it's pain and suffering when that's all they do? And
in that realm.
In that realm.
They're hired by the devil.
They pulled pain and suffering out of that realm to affect the ship. But in that realm, all we see is, I'm talking through my eyes on my hands.
Please don't bring the movie down for me by doing that again.
No, that's scary ass shit.
Ooh,
those visions are scary. That was the thought that went through my head. I'm like, well, wait a second here. If that's their constant, if that's their everyday life, then that's their everyday life. I'm born into this shit. I
understand completely.
How are they born into it? They're taken there.
We're talking about the entities in that dimension.
What entities in that dimension? The ones that do the torturing?
Yeah.
Well, it's their job. They're Satan's minions. What do you want to call it?
But isn't it freaky how pale and how much I look like the Doug Jones character?
Right, that's what I'm saying.
That's horrifying.
Do that. I'll try not to eat a fucking grape in front of me.
Oh, that's why you said grape before.
Yeah, that's
Dude, I know you gotta stop getting mad at her. That I would have done the same fucking thing. She was a kid, and I would have done the same thing now. That feast looks so delicious. Yeah. I understand what you're saying, Christian. And I
I wish
there's some subtleties in this film that I love. And the one that I think is really open to discussion is whether Dr. Weir's character is sort of, it's almost very Shining reference here. He's almost like possessed, like from the minute they get to the ship, even before they get to the ship, from the minute he wakes up, because he has the dream at the very beginning. But I think that has to do with the fact that he built this ship and he has such a connection to it. The fact that him building the ship caused his wife to kill herself because he was always working. And I assume it was on this ship.
Half insane already is what you're saying.
I'm saying he's like fully insane, and I think he has a connection with this ship.
I don't think he's insane at all. I just think that the closer he gets to that evil entity that is the ship, which obviously has a hookup with him because he built the damn thing, they want him there. You know what I mean?
I think he's possessed by it from the very beginning, which is because it's back in contact with the space station. They get to the stress signal. I think he's partially possessed.
Okay, partially possessed, I can agree with you. I just think that it's calling out to him because the closer he's going to get to it. You know what I mean?
Ultimately, no, but his actions are very inconsistent, and that's why I think it's possession, because at one point he'll be a full-on lunatic, then at one point he'll be like, oh, Peters. He finds Peters, her dead body, and he's fine. Then he's possessed again. And he's sitting in the chair with no eyes, and he's, saying, where we're going, you don't need to see, or you don't need eyes to see.
You need eyes.
And then 2 seconds later, when the window is blown out, he's screaming for Miller back in Dr. Weir's voice, in his regular Sam Neill voice, screaming for Miller like he wants help. So there's still like a bit of the good Dr. Weir in there, along with
maybe that's evil. Maybe that's evil.
Yeah.
Playing him, using him as a puppet, using his voice.
Oh, absolutely, that's what it is. But I think it's starting to infect him from the opening shot.
Yeah, that I'll give you. I get all that. I just think he's being called to. I just think that's like
without a doubt.
But once and they want to make sure that he gets there. They want to make sure that hey, you got to get to the ship because we want to cause more trouble here.
And it's him that turns full Cenobite at the end, pretty much, right? It looks like a Hellraiser escapee.
It's like a Dr. Chenard type
situation. And I mean, it's all in good. I'm not shitting on the movie. Right. I really dig this film, and it's great. Like I'd say it really plays out like without the puzzle box, and you can almost argue that certain visuals in there, the way the ship's doors open and close almost resemble the puzzle box to certain degrees. I got that vibe a long time ago. In fact, I remember being a little pissy in the theater saying they aped, I didn't use that term back in the day, but they aped or they took from Hellraiser, and I was a little pissy about it.
I believe the correct term is gibboned.
Gibboned? I would have said they bit. They would at that time. That's what I said.
Okay. Well, whatever. I probably thought it was not as cool, but I was still on board because anytime a movie showed gore and the way they showed it through flashes and whatnot was great. When the gravity kicks back in and the floating body parts hit the ground.
Oh, man.
Awesome.
Fantastic stuff.
Dude,
visually.
The core itself. The core itself was what they compared to the box because it was always spinning in different directions and then eventually it lined up.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is really cool. Yeah, that YouTube video, I forgot who
Good
it
bad
was.
Movies.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Explanation of the film and talking about the, religious.
So much.
Yeah, the religious visuals and the gothic feel of the spaceship and stuff like that really took my appreciation to it to a new level. Because usually with the space films, I don't really pay attention to the crafts so much because I always find that I get, kind of bored because it always seems repetitive. But this time, the first time I watched it, I was just like, wow, this is really cool. The corridors they had with the spinning like meat grinder, he calls it, and different visuals were really cool. And then watching the video and then talking about like the crosses and the doorways looking like coffins and stuff like that, I was just like, wow, I gotta watch this again. And of course it's all there.
And you usually don't give that much weight to a Paul W.S. Anderson film. Yeah. I hate to say it, it's just the reality of it, based on his track record, because they're typically like kind of check your brain at the door action flicks like Mortal Kombat and even the Resident Evil series. There's not a lot of weight there. They're just kind of like actiony horror-esque type films.
This is a massive budget.
Yeah.
Massive budget.
This
60
was
million.
good.
60
How much?
million. 60 million budget.
Wow.
It only made like 25 million.
I'm not surprised at that.
But it's, gained cult following since then, obviously.
Luckily, yeah, because I may not have known about it. You know what I mean?
And terrific performances. Like every character in this movie does really, really great work.
You get just enough of everybody. I love movies that are like that. It's not too much character stuff. It's just enough to get to know, and the people that have depth. The girl with the baby wondering about her child, and the stuff that we learn about the captain and things that happen in his bed. You get just enough to know what their fears may be. And
you get your main characters. You get Weir, Miller, and Peters, our three main characters who are haunted by the fears, and then you get some characters like Smith and
Cooper.
The girl with the son too, that sees her son every now and then.
She's Peters, but the other two who don't get haunted by it, they're the ones who are working outside on the ship, so it makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, and then Stark is sort of like she makes a comment to Liam Neeson's character when he's about to open the door, when he's sort of like possessed, like open the door, and she puts him in like a arm lock, and she's something like self-control is very important at a time like this. Oh, and I thought to myself, like, why isn't she being possessed? But because she's strong mentally. I think she was the strongest. I mean, she was the second in command, and she just seemed like she was really in control. And of course, the doctor.
Oh my God, why can't I think of his name? Lawrence Fishburne.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He never got really, it got into him a little bit. He'd hear the voices. Oh, I guess his dead buddy.
Yeah.
His dead buddy.
Fire and all that. Yeah. And then at the end, he even said, I think it's he's the one that has that line. He says something like, "It knows my fears" or something.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's getting messed with.
Yeah, he says that.
But he's able to, usually people are not able to process and then articulate what they're going through in these films. And he's able to do that. He's like, it knows about this. I haven't told anybody about it.
Yeah, he doesn't let it destroy him the way Peters does or the way Weir does, obviously.
Sure, right.
But that's where this movie differs, because you can easily say, oh my God, what a clone. Like, we've seen this before in Alien and Aliens and any of those alien films where a ship is lost, they're going back, or colony's lost. But they take the idea of something being lost, a ghost ship, essentially in this case, and reconnecting with it, and then adding so much more to the development of the story.
Mm-hmm.
And it not being a physical being.
Right, no alien.
Yeah, it makes it that much like cooler.
Dude, not only when the gravity comes back on and the body falls, but when the coolant falls. It almost looked like they used like Coca-Cola or something for it. It's very brown. It's just that was really cool. Really, really awesome scenes in this.
How about when the blood comes rushing out, like in The Shining? They do that
Shining,
thing, the thing cracks, and and then speaking of that, the other nods, there was the Amityville, the water,
bleeding walls,
dude. Yeah. And I could swear that I also did notice, that's a good comparison with the Lamont. It's 22 shots to say configuration, being compared to the, what do you call it? The core ball, whatever the hell it's called.
Core, yeah.
That is cool, but
gravity drive.
I think that I saw when one of them was closing, I thought I saw the design almost of the configuration. Yeah. It took me. I was like, that looks like that, like the design on it,
But and it's funny because that video kind of articulated way better than I would have ever done. But that's the thought process I had with the Hellraiser connections from way back when, and it sums it up perfectly. But Dave, yes, that's what I said earlier. I agree. Like when the doors close or open, sometimes you get that kind of almost reconfirmation of seeing that and saying, hey, wait, was that what I think it was, or a nod to, whatever it may be. But the blood was great. When the blood was in a big tub, it looked Kool-Aid-esque. But then when they did the close-ups, it was a lot cooler.
Yep.
Like when it was coming down the corner.
I thought Kool-Aid also.
Yeah.
Yep. How about the blood coming out of Justin's eyes and mouth at the end? It's floating in gravity.
And the veins popping in the eyes. Oh, man, such a cool scene. The way he's floating out and it's like foggy and he's like sort of like like hunched over and he's like
fetal
doing
position,
like flips. Yeah, he's in the fetal position and he's sort of like floating. That shot, and then like Fishburne just does like a fucking launch at him and grabs him. They really care about each other, these characters. Really, really well done. I love it. When the characters are well done, that's huge for me.
They make them less stereotypical than what you're used to by seeing a film where a bunch of characters get out of like hypertension or hypersleep like chambers and come out into the like. No, we've seen it all before, but it's played out so differently here.
Yeah.
You know, you don't get the cigar chomping lieutenant that is like, okay, everybody, let's get it, and everything else. But there's all these elements that we've been there, done that. But again, it's done differently here, and smarter, definitely smarter characters and more fleshed out for the most part, anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. No, good stuff. It's almost kind of like that's one comparison I can make to Alien, the first Alien, that you meet that small group there and you like them. You know what I mean? There's no drama between them, and you know they everyone knows their role. Or The Thing, for example, you know what I mean? It has that type of feel where you like the characters, you just get what you need to know about them, and that stuff works.
Did you know what was wrong with Peter's son?
What was wrong with Peter's son? No, what was it? What was the insinuation?
He has a case of the bad legs.
Oh. I should have known.
Diagnosis?
Diagnosis.
Bad legs.
You got them bad.
Case of them bad legs. Absolutely. Yeah.
Bad legs, kid.
Dude, I like that Justin, you know, like he's sort of in and out of it too, because he's like sort of possessed and hitting the airlock to open the thing, but at the same time he's, you know, Mama Bear save me.
Yeah.
And then he talks about how, like, you know, if you've seen what I've seen, you would do exactly what I'm doing right now.
Exactly. You wouldn't try to stop me, he said.
Yeah, that's haunting. Although I do wish, you know, based on that YouTube video we watched, that, you know, they say they cut out like a good 30, 40 minutes of this film.
I know.
I do wish we had gotten a little bit more, especially with the hell scenes. I don't mind that some of the gore scenes were cut down, but the hell scenes, yeah.
They were interesting because you know that this was done in a time frame where they didn't just get rid of the footage. We had special editions already coming out at this point, massive special editions, not to the Blu-ray extent, but they were doing them on laser and DVD. I think was, you know, well, I think it was coming out at this point as well, but laser was already doing them, so this footage exists.
Well, the thing is, they said the work print wound up in a salt mine in Transylvania. Like, how does that happen? Like,
right?
Like, when you're done with a film, don't you just put the work print in like some sort of archive or in the filmmaker's basement or somewhere safe? How does it end up in a salt mine in Transylvania? Like, that sounded so made up, but so awesome at the same time.
I know, right?
Like, that's a horror movie in itself.
I
know.
Going
to find your original footage in a salt mine in Transylvania.
Yeah. How about that idea?
Of the Event Horizon.
That's our fourth film.
Think about this. There could be a movie. It's like a cursed film, right? I mean, we've seen cursed film movies before. But in this case, the guy that directed it realized that only the scenes that were cut were causing bad things to happen. So there is a work print, and he had it sent somewhere, like a salt mine in Transylvania, and these other kids online, they get together and they want to go try to find this because they're big fans of the film and because of the history and everything else, and you know, we'd be famous. So they go to try to get the work print, and the further they get into the salt mine, the film itself starts fighting back on them, the evil in it, and they get picked off.
And then the ending of the film, we realize we haven't been doing a podcast called Exploding Heads. The EH actually stands for Event Horizon, and we've been on the ship the whole time.
Yeah, man.
Movie number 5.
Yeah, there we go. Let's keep on doing it. $3 at a time.
There are even hints of other movies in this. Even movies that I think might have come out after this. It had an Armageddon type feel with the connection between these characters, which I think came out after, and even a little bit of a Hannibal Lecter type feel. The way Weir was talking at certain points, I felt like he was very controlled and evil at the same time, very very creepy. And the way that the doctor was killed when he's like strung up, all like dissected and cut open.
That gutted scene.
Yeah, that reminded me of Silence of the Lambs with the cop at the end, but also obviously Frank and Hellraiser.
Right.
So
good stuff. Indeed.
Cool. Yes, indeed.
That should be our tagline for our horror movie. It's got to be. You say it all the time.
Yeah, maybe it is. How about that?
We got to come up with some movie where
in the beginning. We'll definitely do that. That's a given, I think. When they're in the back, and she says, that first of all, that scary ass audio when they listen to the people suffering and shit. Oh my god, that's freaking haunting type stuff. That, oof. But then they go and what the hell did they say? She's walking through, and then she says something about, "Oh, we got some blood here," and then you see a flash, and you see all the mayhem in the back and the guts and all the shit on this. Oh,
Dude, that's
so
nasty.
good.
Yeah.
Oh, that was done so well. And when that glove comes by him, and he sees it out of the corner of his eye, and oh, dude,
It looked like Michael Jackson glove. It was all like silver and bedazzled. It was Elizabeth Hurley's
Everything's
glove.
bedazzled.
Yeah, sure it wasn't bedeviled. Bedazzled.
It
Awesome.
was. I swear. I looked at it. I was like, why is there a Michael Jackson glove floating? But the sound design stands out in this film. Yeah.
Oh, the whole production. The production's is top notch. It's
performances.
It's bizarre. Well, you know what? A lot of these films have developed a following afterward. The Thing was no exception. Alien was, I think, a hit out of the gate, but The Thing was a bomb in the theater, and it kind of developed this cult status afterwards. And I think this is one of the films that I think is well known to be one of Paul W.S. Anderson's best films.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say it's definitely his best film, at least of the ones I've seen. But yeah, I don't know what else I was gonna say.
Corpsicle. That's what I was gonna say. What a great
Corpsicle. Yeah.
I love that. A Corpsicle.
Yeah, great. It's just really a great
It's
film.
stiff.
When they blow the ship, oh wait, what?
It's a stiff.
Is it? No.
It's not a horror film.
Damn it. I don't know.
9 to 5.
It's a kids movie. Kids-esque movie. Yeah.
Oh. Is it the Goonies?
Yeah, the Goonies.
I was gonna say Goosebumps.
Chunk in the fridge.
Right.
Time for the Goosebumps giveaway.
It's coming. There are giveaways coming, by the way. I got some things here. I want to give them away. Oh, and by the way, patrons, listen.
That hat.
I haven't sent out those things yet, the stickers. It's just been every time the weekend comes. I can't get to the post office during the week at all. I go into work at 7. I get out. It's after 4:30. Everything out here is closed, so I can only go on Saturday, and it is a small window. It's like a 3-hour window. So, but I did find some stamps here, a book of stamps. So I'm gonna be working on them, and I thought I had to go to the post office to do it, but but I don't necessarily have to because I think I have enough time stamps as well here that I could just send them out. But they're just these little stickers, but more coming. But I know people are probably wondering, but they are going to come. I promise you. So
if I had a few nitpicks for this film, I'm sorry, were you?
No, go ahead. I'm done.
Let me stop you there.
What else can I say?
No, let me just stop you there.
You stop me there. We got a new patron. Right as we're live.
Hey, let's shout them out.
Yep. Ryan Schwartz, welcome.
Hey,
Schwartz, be with you.
Happy Passover, Ryan.
Yes, indeed. Nice.
Happy Easter Sunday Passover. A few nitpicks, obviously, with the gore cuts. The wife's suicide could have been much better. It's very quick. I do like that quick shot of her in the tub, that overhead shot.
Yeah.
That's really good, but I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of it. And at first, I actually had it down as a negative, the fact that her eyes are missing. But it makes sense now in terms of what I was talking about with, him having a connection to this evil even very early on, because he's dreaming about it even before it happens. And
what about the reflection in her eye at the end? When you see in her eye the reflection and you see the core thing spinning, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, beautiful.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah,
fucking exquisite, man.
Exquisite. Yes. Dot and the kangaroo, Dot and the bunny, get on them.
Dot and the bunny. Okay, so
it's not a perfect film. It's not a perfect film.
No, it's not a perfect film.
Nope.
I was just trying to make sense. It tore a hole in the universe. Created this. They used black holes, which Stark talks about that being, talking about that being dangerous because it's the most dangerous thing in the world, and it tore a hole in the universe. When Weir is gonna shoot Miller, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get my thought together. When Weir is gonna shoot Miller, Miller says to him, "If you miss, you're going to blow the hole. He's like, what makes you think I'm going to miss? But then he immediately shoots at Cooper at the window. Why would he shoot the window out? It blew the hole instantly.
I don't know.
Yeah. I just saw it seemed very silly.
I don't remember now. I didn't even make note of that.
I mean, I know he was taken by surprise because Cooper came back because he was floating away after he was,
It was instinctful. Okay, yeah, that's right. Cooper came back and he's like, I'm coming back. Does that remind you of the Jason X thing? Yeah. I think Jason X totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please do not compare this to Jason X.
I think Jason X did that on purpose, though. I think
they might have.
He said, let's do this a little bit.
I love when he's like floating into fucking outer space. He's like, I gotta get back to the ship.
Yep.
And it's like, I gotta blow the hatch or whatever. And he did it. And he got back to the ship.
Gotta blow the oxygen tank.
He was confident. He was like, I gotta do this. He goes,
if that was Christian in that scene, instead of saying, I gotta blow my tank, he would be like, I gotta blow my cuz.
And I'd be like, I gotta blow my load one more time before I die. Imagine that. Yeah, space masturbation. Whip it out right in space.
It's floating up into your mask. You're like,
That would actually be hilarious.
I'm not gay. I'm gay.
I hope I'd be fine with my dick in my hand in space, floating around.
Oh, floating around. Maybe this looks larger with zero gravity.
Yes, Junior is now a senior in space.
I think maybe if they didn't have that line to set you up for him shooting the blow hatch or whatever like that, it wouldn't seem so weird. But for them to set it up with like, why, like, well, you think I'm gonna miss? You think I'm gonna miss?
Then I'm gonna shoot this cross window here.
Well, I think it was just instincts. He saw this guy come. Oh, wait a minute. You know what I mean?
No, it's yeah, that's fine. Like I'm really nitpicking at this point. My it's not even an issue, but my main question is, obviously Miller blows the ship at the end, separating the safe part of the ship for the other crew members to escape. But as he's blowing the ship, you see that they are sucked into the black hole.
Blow and suck. Blow the ship, suck into the black hole.
It's true, though.
Black hole. Cuz.
So what do you think? Did he save them?
Did he save them?
Yes.
Yes, he saved them.
I'm talking about everyone who died on the ship. Did he save their souls?
Oh, I don't know about that. What do I look like?
What do you mean? This is a huge question here because you see it disappear into the black hole because we are engaged the portal, but he blew the ship, but it still disappears into the portal.
I guess he did save their souls.
You think they were dead and wherever it disappeared to, it doesn't matter because he saved them already?
Because it's in a black hole now. It's in a different whatever it is. It's in a different galaxy, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Galaxy far, far away?
Yes, exactly.
All they know is pain.
Yeah.
But he set the portal to take them back to hell or whatever dimension they were going to. That's why I ask. Did they go back?
What if the sequel is that it comes back to Earth? The portal leads them back to Earth.
I think it actually goes back to Earth too. Back to tying into that one.
I thought that's a legitimately fair question.
It didn't occur to me, but now that you bring it up, it's something
That's why I said this movie, had it been a hit, deserved a sequel and a prequel. A prequel to go back to the building of the ship and the original flight crew, and a sequel to follow up, because at the very end of this, they're obviously being rescued, the three of them who are still alive, and then you see the door close. So is the door closing just theatrics, the movie's over, the door's closing, or is it there's some presence that shut that door that still stayed behind, some evil that stayed behind on that part of the ship?
I think we're probably supposed to feel that there's some sort of evil that stayed behind. I think so. It's always leaving you with that unanswered question, but
it's so weird. I want to lean the other way just because of how heroic and how good these characters were. I want to feel that Miller actually saved them, even though I just don't know. But you're right. I mean, I guess it's a good thing to have these questions, open-ended.
No, it's never a bad thing, unless it yeah, like it's not ambiguous in the sense of like totally not like. I think it leaves you with just enough.
Yeah.
Without being unanswered. Is
Exactly. There's arguments both ways. Christian knows.
I'll have to next time I watch it.
I don't know. I got very tired all of a sudden. All that blowing and sucking has made me tired.
She's gone from suck to blow.
Spaceballs.
There you go. Yes. Speaking
I
of
knew that too. I didn't know
away.
I didn't know we were doing Name That Movie. I did know that was Spaceballs.
From now on, it's the new rule of the show. Anytime someone quotes a line, it's
always
Name That Movie. Automatically. Basically, yeah. I'm making it official now.
Echo and the Bunny Man. Dot and the Bunny Man.
Yeah, Dot and the Bunny, a perfect movie to watch on Easter. How do you like that, people? There it is. Dot and the Bunny. Anyway, enough of that. How about all the coffins? Things look like coffins when they're going through the doors, the doorways.
Yeah, the doorways, yeah.
Shaped like coffins. Yeah. It reminds me of, what do you call it? LA
Coffins?
is the place.
Yeah,
LA is the place.
Mausoleum.
Yeah. The Laplace's demon. How the coffin was moving around.
Yeah.
It could have fit right perfectly through those doors.
LA is the place.
I'm always gonna call it LA is the place now.
I didn't know what you're talking about for a second.
LA is the place. Yeah.
LA
but all the
places.
religious stuff, we didn't get a whole lot into it, but now I noticed it, like, obviously because I watched the video, but I mean afterwards the inside of it does look like a cathedral sometimes with the way the pillars are and stuff like that. I guess it was modeled after some famous cathedral in France. I forgot which one it was.
Notre Dame.
Is that what it is? Okay. But
before the fire.
Yeah.
Oh God, Christian, I should have let you make that joke. Now I look like the bag. You were about to make the joke too.
Nice.
Were you gonna say that exact same phrase?
No, I was gonna say both of them went up in flames, but that's.
Oh, okay. All right.
But it's just as in poor taste.
Indeed. In the Stations of the Cross. The Stations of the Cross going around the ship, the way the outsides look and how they have it. If you've been inside a Catholic church, you know what I'm talking about, and how the thing itself is shaped like a cross. Lots of cool
That's
stuff.
giveaway. And again, without that video, I would have never saw it. But there's that priest blowing the little boy in the corner too. You didn't see the first view, but on the Dave's second watch, there's the priest was blowing the little boy.
Well, he couldn't run away because he had a case of them bad legs.
Yeah.
Oh,
Come here,
man.
Junior. Gonna suck you like a black hole.
Black hole son, will you be my black hole son? And that's how you start. Anyway, how about we are getting the 8-hour treatment like Freddy Krueger? I dig that. You know what I'm saying? That's all work that goes into this movie. But yeah, we better wrap it up, huh? We better wrap it up. How high we going? I'm going 9 out of 10. That's where I'm sitting on Event Horizon.
Cool. I'm an 8.5 out of 10.
I am also an 8.5 out of 10.
Wow, I come the highest. That doesn't happen all that much.
Yeah, well, I bet you do come the highest.
Hey now.
Hey now.
The longest.
You got 2 inches on us.
Yeah.
Well, he said he's 7.5, so he's got about 4 inches on me.
Hey now.
Hey now.
Yep. Just
Hey,
call
did
my
you?
doc Jason Lloyd. Anyway.
Next time you're having sex, I will give you $100 if you get a recording of you saying that to your wife. About to give you the old Jason Lloyd.
I don't tempt me with money, buddy. Believe me.
I would have to pay you if that literally came out.
We're gonna be out of here. Next show, 103. The 3 movies. We're doing 3 movies because we got things piling up. So Under the Skin is from Derek. Ooh. The Craft from Glenn, and The Initiation from Jonathan.
Boom.
Nice.
Nice.
We'll see you soon. We're having a lot of fun. Patrons, we love you. And what else can we say? Anything?
We appreciate your support.
Yeah. Appreciate it. And we love you long time.
You go. Peace
out. Promotional consideration brought to you by
Mr. Freeze.